Hello and welcome back to another episode of DCU Daily. We are back as always. We have got so much to talk about from the world of DC Studios, all things DC, the DCU. Of course, we are DCU Daily, so we got to talk about the DCU. And we potentially got some stuff from the Elseworlds as well. So there's, the Superman trailer still making waves, breaking records, shattering records. If you click the thumbnail, then you know we're going to be talking about those records today. And then, of course, beyond that, we have got lots more to discuss. Fans are still reacting to all that they saw yesterday in like the 2.5 minutes that we got of the glorious Superman suit in action, bulge get and all, or maybe their lack thereof. There was at least a couple of shots where there wasn't a bulge, there wasn't a yellow set of trunks, no underoos. Like what's going on with that? Maybe we did a live reaction for the trailer yesterday, and then we spoke about it for like 2 hours live, but I feel like we missed a couple of things. So we have a few Easter eggs we gotta get into because apparently there was a whole character in the trailer we didn't even see until somebody decided to take a magnifying glass to it and found it for us. So we'll get into that, and of course beyond that, I'm sure there's so much more for us to talk about. So let's do that. As always with me, I've got John. How
Yeah,
are you doing today?
good. My Wi-Fi was acting up, so of course, like right when you fucking hit live, I fucking cut out. But now, oh, I think my Wi-Fi is okay now. But yeah, more Superman talk. Let's do it.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. So yeah, let's start with that. So yeah, Superman, the teaser trailer. I mean, we got a teaser to the trailer the day before. Then yesterday we got the teaser trailer, and yeah, it's been breaking records. So we're gonna like start from the top and then kind of like work our way down in terms of all the different elements. The first thing I want to kind of get into is yesterday James Gunn, had a few quotes in this Variety article that I wanted to get into because it sort of encompasses his approach to the franchise. And essentially, like it says in the headline, he's choosing, and DC Studios in general are choosing to embrace all of the mythology of Superman. They're not trying to hide anything. They're not gonna like play it safe and be like, we don't want to do, Crypto the Superdog. Clearly, we've got Crypto the Superdog. This is the quote that I want to get into here specifically. He says superhero movies have taken these characters and said, okay, it's Batman or it's Superman, which I mean, clearly he didn't watch Batman v Superman, but whatever. But it's not any of the other stuff. And then he continued on to say, we're embracing all of the Superman mythology, and I'm not taking his comments literally. I don't think he means like we haven't gotten a Batman and Superman in the same movie before. But he said that hey, Superman has friends who are other superheroes. He has people he doesn't get along as well with, or who are other superheroes. So like he's got a lot of metahuman friends. He has a lot of things that we love from the Superman comics that we haven't been able to see as much of in film media, aka Crypto the Superdog probably is one of them. And definitely haven't been able to see in a grounded way, which is what I hope you have created. I mean, I wonder what he's hinting at there because there's a lot of elements in that trailer, man, that felt like like oh man, like how are you gonna make a talking Superdog grounded? But we'll see. So far we haven't seen crypto talk, so we'll see. Of course, before we go any further, I gotta say hello to all the folks in the chat. We got Fiona in the chat. We have Michael in the chat. Michael K joining us as always. I just called him Mitch. Sorry, Mitch. You are Michael. Let me get you in there. Of course, we've got the main man in the chat. So hello to the main man. We've also got Caleb in there. All right, hello Caleb. Thanks for joining us. We've got Manos time. I just love the
Hell
name
yeah.
Manos. Manos. It's a cool name. Uh, Fiona's like, Dan, show us your sweater. I will. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I will do that. Caleb saying James Gunn took Weasel to a Nothing Burger character to a character I was cheering for him and I cried for him. Yes, we will get
We
into
will
the
be
Creature
getting into that.
Commandos
Don't you
episode
worry.
review. Don't you worry. But hey, you know what? Here you go. This is my sweater. This is what I'm wearing today.
I
I don't
don't
have a
have that.
Superman shirt, but Bootios. Any of you guys into Bootios? That's what I have for my cereal. That's a healthy bowl of Bootios. It's like a bowl of Bootios a day keeps the doctor away, as they say.
Yeah, Fiona's
So,
very happy about that. We know. So yeah.
uh-huh, yeah. I don't know if you know. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna like move off at the topic and switch the subject. We've got Logan in the chat. I haven't seen you in the chat before, Logan. Hello and welcome. He's saying he or she or they are saying, I'm glad people are talking about Superman again. He deserves more love. Absolutely. And we've got Manolo saying, Hola miente, and well, hola miente back to you, sir. I am not very good at Spanish, but I will do my best to keep up. Hunter Iggy. Oh, hello, Hunter. Hi. What's up? What's up, my dude? So yeah, we've got the folks in the chat saying hello and hi. Yes, Superman does deserve the respect, John. What do you think about what James Gunn said here? And yes, one Bootios a day does keep the doctor away. Thank you, Fiona. We're getting a lot of elements from the comics in this trailer that we, sometimes some of which we've never seen in live action before. I feel like as far as movies go, we haven't seen a Crypto the dog, Super Dog before at all. So
No, we haven't.
that's, we haven't seen the Engineer before in live action. There's so many other things like Ultraman. If that is indeed the character, we haven't seen him in live action before. What are your thoughts? And again, just James Gunn saying we're embracing it all. We're not going to hide away from this. It's kind of like been Marvel's approach in the MCU. Like, when they said, "Oh, we're going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy movie," people were like, "Guardians of the who?" And now it's probably
as Jim
one of the
would say.
Yeah, who is like, oh, come on, man. It's like anyway, Star-Lord, the galactic superhero.
Galactic superhero outlaw. All right.
The galactic outlaw superhero. Yeah. He's like, who? Anyway, nobody's gonna be saying that to Superman. Instead, they'll be just throwing cans.
James Gunn didn't even put the title of the fucking movie.
Exactly. That is so like it just says DC Studios only in cinemas. I was like, wait, can you imagine if you are like somebody who has no idea that this is super? Let's say you're an alien, right? See the irony? Let's say you're an alien who just like stepped on Earth and just watched the Superman trailer for the first time. This alien in this situation would not be from Krypton, obviously. Then you would know who Superman is because you would recognize, oh, there's hope on that guy's chest. Because it's not an S. But if you were an alien from another planet, not Krypton, maybe you're in one of the drones that's circling New Jersey right now, and you decide to just step off and go to a movie theater near you. And instead of watching, Sonic, or maybe you do go watch Sonic, because I saw, I heard that you got to check out half the Superman trailer before Sonic.
Not even
you
half.
watched the trailer.
I missed the entire thing.
You watched the trailer. Shame. It's okay. It's all right. You'll get another.
I mean, chance, I still saw Sonic 3. So remember, guys, it's not just in front of Mufasa 2 or Mufasa the Lion King, whatever the fuck it is. You don't have to trudge through a shitty movie, or you don't have to go pay to see a shitty movie and then walk out after the trailer's done. You can actually go see the trailer and then watch a really good movie after the fact with Sonic 3. So that's good. So just keep that in mind. Exactly. It's the third trailer, at least at AMC. It's the third trailer. So
get Michael saying he's excited for the Superman movie. Michael, we are too, man. I forget if you were in the chat yesterday or not. We were live reacting to the trailer, and that was quite the conversation. But as I was saying, this supposed alien, comes to the movie theater, watches a Superman trailer before watching Sonic, and then all of a sudden in the trailer, like at the end, you see DC Studios only in cinemas, and that's it. Can you imagine that alien is gonna assume that next year he can go watch DC Studios the movie in a theater near him? I don't know. Maybe if he goes back to his home planet, not a theater. Maybe a theater on Earth near him. But it was one of those things where it's pretty much like a mic drop moment where you go, okay, this character is so iconic. We don't need to put up the logo. We don't need to put up the name. You just know what it is. Hello, Figure Drawing. We got Figure Drawing in the chat. What do you think about that? Because it's not very often that you see that. In fact, I can't remember the last trailer I saw where they didn't include the name of the movie in written form, or the logo for the film, or even the symbol for the main character if it's a superhero movie in the trailer. Like it's almost as if they forgot about it, but when you think about it, they're not forgetting. They're leaving it out.
The chanting is in it, like you hear Superman, and the thing is, because you could like pull that off with Superman, because Superman is that inherently iconic that you don't even need to. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, by the way, Caleb, we do not endorse that you go
watch Sonic in the theater. We want this movie to beat out Mufasa. Fuck Mufasa. Fuck Disney. Watch Sonic 3. Watch it this weekend. I literally just got back from seeing it a couple hours ago. It's a damn good movie. It's almost the best of the three. So are we really fucking... Bro, it's about a guy who flies who's powered by the sun. Are people really getting that fucking uppity about the fucking laws of physics?
Dude, some of the VFX in this are not finished, and there was like cratering around him. and like you saw all that snow get displaced. It's I'm just saying this will look, some of the shots will look better once you see it in the movie theater because they will continue to work on them. Like as much as for a lot of shots that they do put out in trailers, even though they look finished, we have had examples in the past where we see a shot in a trailer, then we see it in the movie and it looks different. For example, remember in the Batman trailer, there's like where he like slams the glass with his hand. It's like, what did you do? There were multiple takes of that. They used one take in the trailer, and in the final cut they ended up using a different take of him doing it, because when you do a comparison between the movie with that shot and the trailer, they're slightly different. You can tell like Robert Pattinson probably did 5 takes of it, and that's something very like minor, but like stuff like that happens. We don't have the picture lock on this, as they call it, yet before it goes to get have all the orchestra work on the soundtrack for it. So until that happens, there will be changes made. It's unlikely that any shot that you saw in the trailer is not going to end up in the movie, because James Gunn has specifically said he's not the kind of person who will do that. Unlike in Marvel, they made that whole shot of the Avengers running in Infinity War with the Hulk, and we never actually had the Hulk in the third act of the movie. So, but yeah, I mean, Caleb, great comment from you here. DC has had an amazing year with the Penguin, Superman, and Lois. Creature Commandos airing right now, the Superman trailer. Yeah, we do not talk about Joker Folie à Deux, but minus that, everything else has been great. Everything has been great. And Derpy saying, tiny spoiler, but Big Belly Burger will be in this film. Only Gunn would do that. Nobody else let him cook. And so far, he is cooking. You know what?
Well, I mean, Big Belly Burger was in the Arrowverse, so. And no, Big Belly, it was in the DCU too, EU too. I think Flash mentioned it in the Flash movie. I'm pretty sure Big Belly Burger was in the DCEU. Yeah. So, and it's not a spoiler. We talked about it at length.
It's something because it was in set photos. It's in set photos for Peacemaker as well. So Peacemaker season 2 will have it as well. So it's definitely canon to the DCU. Figure drawing responding to you, John. By the way. Caleb saying, after seeing the suit in the trailer, it's the greatest live action Superman suit of all time in my opinion. He does preclude that by saying hot take.
I don't know about that.
I do think that's a hot take, because I wouldn't go as far as to say that just
yet. To be fair, this is coming from the guy who does nothing but troll us, so he could be bullshitting.
Could be. Manos Time saying, did you see that Dean Lorey, the Creature Commandos producer, said Wally Vesta Flash is part of the Justice League? Did he say that? No, you know what? I do remember that was one of the Rotten Tomatoes interviews, and he stopped short of committing to anything because it was like, I don't want to get in any trouble, and James Gunn was in the same like Zoom call or whatever it was. And he was like, well, we haven't really quite honestly thought that far ahead. But he did almost let it slip. So you know what? Maybe there's some truth to it, but we don't know yet which version of the Flash we're gonna get. But yes, definitely we did see that interview where I think it was with Rotten Tomatoes, like I said, where it was Dean Lorey and James Gunn talking about it, and they get asked like a question which is meant to like trip him up, and before Dean answers the question all the way through, he's like, I don't really know for sure. I don't know if I'm getting myself, because literally his boss is right there in the same room. So don't blame him for that. Michael K saying the animated Lion King is better than Mufasa and the live action Lion King. Facts. Agree with you 100%, Michael. That is, big facts. To this day, way better. Go back and watch the 1994 movie. Yeah, way better than the new ones, even though the new ones made a ton more money. Caleb saying he's not trolling this time. The Corn Sweat suit is better than the Snyder suit. You know what? I will fight you for that, because to me it's just apples and oranges.
Okay.
I will personally still prefer the Henry Cavill
BVS suit is good. I don't like the Man of Steel suit. I like the BVS suit more.
Yeah.
Thought that was a better suit.
Yeah. I think to me, I think the Man of Steel suit is perfect. I really love it.
It's just too gray looking. It's too depressing looking.
And you know what? But that's not necessarily the suit itself, although it wasn't as brightly colored when you look at the behind the scenes photos too. Now, we do have you guys asking us about how much money will this movie make, and Hunter Iggy and Manos Time, we do see you. We will talk about that later in the show, but we got a little sidetracked here. Let's gonna get back on the train here. So this is something that they put out today. If you're on Instagram, I believe also probably on TikTok, this is like a GIF now that you can use, where literally they're again showing you the difference between how Clark looks when he's dressed like Superman and when he's in his street clothes as Clark Kent. Of course, we can clearly see the bulge. It's right there. You can't really hide it anymore. I feel like that's the answer to whether they were gonna smudge the bulge or not. So they're embracing it, but that's okay. the suit still looks. It looks very comic book friendly. Like it's straight out of the comic book pages. I do hope that as we go along, they refine it more because the texturing. I mean, but then again, it's a low quality GIF, so I don't know. We see more of the texturing in like some of the shots in the trailer than we do in others. Maybe it's just the way the light hits it. I think this suit might look like more textured in the darker scenes than it does in the brighter scenes. But it is amazing how the suit kind of changes how it looks depending on where you're seeing it. The other thing, John, you pointed out yesterday was there's a notch here where his Adam's apple is in the Superman suit, and
Yeah,
then the suit that he's wearing when that scene with the ball of plasma in the background in the trailer, he doesn't have the notch. It's like rounded
yeah,
around the neck. So you might be onto something there that there is a modified version of the suit at some point in the movie. Even though James Gunn did say the whole thing takes place over the course of like a couple of days. So I'm like, does he end up with like one he starts with one suit and ends up with a whole different suit by the end, like over the course of a couple of days? Possible. I wouldn't put it past them, but yes, it is definitely something that could happen. What are your thoughts on again just how different he looks? Because people are still shocked, and the average audience, movie audience members, the moviegoers are even more shocked than we are because we, of course, have been talking about it all summer long of how different David Cornsweet looks as Clark Kent versus Superman. But for most people who weren't, following all the behind the scenes photos, their first look at, the stark difference between the two characters was when they saw the trailer. In fact, some people were like, wait a second, that was Clark Kent? That was meant to be Clark Kent? Holy cow, no, wait, so that is the same person? I remember like a lot of social media like had to, had somebody clarify that for them. So like, how much do you appreciate the fact that we are getting, a Clark Kent look here that looks so different from Superman that, even if he took his glasses off, you might not recognize him as
yeah.
Superman.
I like that a lot. I think this is definitely um a fun little thing. I think somebody posted it before I saw yours that you sent me. So I don't know. I just think that that's pretty fun. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. I think
Yep.
it's cute.
Yep. Mr. Moody saying there's no other suit. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Hashtag
it's
Suitgate.
Suitgate continues, says Jay Kelly. There you go. Trunk Gang is here. Hello. Yes, Trunk Gang is here. We welcome all, everybody and all, whether you're a fan of the Trunks or not. You're welcome here. And welcome, Mr. Moody. We haven't seen you in the chat very often, but we're glad to have you here and we hope you stick around. All right, let's keep going. So this is from Monday. So this is, from right at the beginning of the week. We didn't share this photo before, so I wanted to kind of bring it up again. Because David Cornsweet, he's committed to the part. He showed up to that press event. He tried to recreate the look of the poster. And yeah, it looks nice. I mean, the dude fits the description. That's all I'll say. Even if he has got a 5 o'clock shadow. So maybe he'll fly fast enough that the 5 o'clock shadow will disappear. Then there was this video that guy with a movie camera posts. I think this is from the set visit. Or this is either that or this is meant to be. He says he's like was interning on the set as a PA. But it's crazy again. This is the same dude playing Superman, and he's pretty much unrecognizable. And we don't have the sound up for this for obvious reasons. Sorry, YouTube has very strict guidelines. But if you do find this for yourself on social media, you get to hear David Cornsweet talking and sound like for the first time.
I love WB. Looks like a fine journalist and incorrect. That is Clark Kent.
That is Clark Kent. And then when the comments keep going, it's like, there's clearly the Daily Planet's mild-mannered reporter, Clark Kent. That's not Superman. That's Clark Kent. I went to high school with him in Smallville. He was a senior when I was a freshman. He was always real nerdy and clumsy. No way he's Superman. So the lore continues, and I just love the look. I love the look. I think this is probably the best comparison here, side by side. You see the reaction. I can't admit this. It's the same guy because he could have fooled me. I mean, like if I ran into Superman, like this Superman, and then went into Clark Kent the same day, I would be like, I met two different people. And clearly, now that we've got the trailer, these behind the scenes photos are resurfacing, and you can tell the difference is stark.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we have still got tons more new people in the chat, guys. I don't know if you guys have been watching before and not been in the comment section, but hello to It's Mochi. It's Mochi. What a name. I love all these names. It's Mochi says, I do wish that Gunn would have went with the classic look because I never liked the new 52 collar, but they got the trunks, so I'm here for it. That was in all
I
caps, so
agree. I
that's
never
why.
liked the new 52
Um,
collar and the lines and how the cape is tucked, but it still
um,
looks good to me.
yeah, and well, Nelson's saying hello, hello, Nelson. Who wins, David Superman or Chris Hemsworth's Thor? I would say Superman because Superman's the OG superhero. It's like when it really comes down to it. I know that at this point, Chris Hemsworth Thor has a lot more experience superheroing, but let's be honest. Norse God versus God, like I don't know. It depends on who's writing the comic book or the story or who has the rights. If there was a crossover, they would probably fight to a draw. But good question, Nelson. All right. By the way, if you are watching and you haven't hit the like button, please do. It really helps us out, and it's one little click for you, and it helps us out a ton. It gets our content in front of more audiences. We want to grow the community, spread the word, people. We are here 5 days a week, bootios and all. I don't know. There you go, bootios. A bootio, a couple, bootios a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know why I'm just shilling for the new day right now, but anyway, it's almost Christmas time, guys. Like, where's your ugly Christmas jumper or sweater, depending on where you live. I wonder where Lenny is right now. She'll pop in. John, now that you've
Yes,
sat on this
sir.
trailer for a day, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? Have you
Still
seen you've
fucking
seen this
great.
a few more
It's
times, I
getting
bet.
even better. Like it's just like I love like I think my favorite shot might be the kid. Like just like that
Oh,
fucking
the but
shot
the flag.
with the flag. It's just that goes just like so fucking hard. It's just not even funny. Like it just goes like I honestly I might like make that my Facebook cover photo just of him like putting the flag in the ground. Like it just goes so goddamn hard. It's brilliant. So I
It
love
is.
that. That's
Yeah.
I also love the one fucking asshole just throwing a can at Superman's head. It's like
Yep.
just
It's just like
fucking
pops off his head.
hey look, they put Snyder cultists in Superman.
That I'm ready for the GIF where they like put the text on top, like
Yeah,
Snyder cultists
yeah.
flinging hate at Superman, like the can is a symbol for hate. Um, I love this shot, like where they're just like kissing and flying into the air. It's so just the romanticism behind it. And when I'm not being literal. I mean like literally, it's more the figurative nature of like who Superman as a character is, and again, just pulling directly from the pages of the comics. Also, Crypto the Superdog has to be probably one of the best things to come out of this. Like seriously, I feel like the average fan watching this movie, they jumped out of their seat when they saw Superdog, the Crypto show up. Why am I
Hmm.
saying that as if it's his last name? It's not like Crypto the Superdog is. He's just Crypto. He just happens to be a Superdog. It was also just brilliant when he's like bursting through the snow. It's almost, you can compare it to like the sandworms in Dune. It's just the build up for it, or the Polar Express if you're into your Christmas festive celebration mood. Again, just the visuals of this trailer, you get all the colors. Some people are saying there's like this blue tint across everything, and I'm like, I kind of see it, but honestly, like I don't really look at this and say, well, this sucks because, well, a lot of what we're seeing, there's shots in here that will get changed up and added to. The color grade is probably not finalized yet, but what I do see a lot of here is there's a lot more in this that looks like it was shot in camera and not added in post. Obviously, there's stuff like the fireball of the plasma in the background is probably something that might have been done on like one of those volume screens. But when you look at all the different characters, you look at the shot. There's a lot of center frame shots. With Metamorpho, he's in the center of the frame. You got you really like coolly shot looking at the big ass forehead of Lex Luthor when Superman's saving the girl. It's in the center. So the way the cinematography so far we are seeing it looks like it's starting to give us a better idea of what it's gonna be like for the movie in James Gunn's style, which matches up pretty closely. No surprise to what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm looking forward to that, John. But overall, now that you've seen the trailer a few different times, I'll tell you as much for myself. Yesterday, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Then I watched the trailer again on my home theater screen with like the big sound system and in 4K, 5.1, Dolby audio, and my rating jumped up to like a 7.5 because I feel like I got more out of it than I did the first time I saw it when I saw
Hell
it
yeah.
live yesterday. So my rating has gone up to 7.5. I might even be thinking 8 out of 10. Do you feel like I mean, let us know in the chat, guys. If did you have a better rating for the trailer? Did your opinion of it improve, or did
I
it
think
go
it's
the
at
other
the same. I
direction,
just
watching it multiple
still
times?
really, really love it. You
Yeah.
know, I think it's still at a 9.5. Maybe it's at a 10. But I still think it's like at that level. It's just, it's great stuff, and I really like everything going on and the vision that's there. I love all of it. It's great stuff.
Yep.
I love that
Nelson?
build up and the payoff. Like the first half is like that proper build up, and
Yeah.
then the latter part is like all this great
Caleb
stuff.
giving it a 7.5. I don't know if Caleb was in the chat yesterday, but Caleb's giving it a 7.5. He asked for you guys to give us your ratings yesterday. TC24 saying Superman smoking Thor's boots. Probably. Caleb saying I didn't hate the new 52 suit. All right, well there you go. Manos Time saying love the fact that Gunn said he was casting Lois from the jump instead of separating the two. Yeah, they did like the chemistry test, and he was like they were the perfect couple. It went together so nicely. Is Mochi saying what makes me have so much hope for this universe is that kaiju. It makes it feel so fantastical. This universe will be peak. And did Caleb saying someone should write hashtag restore the Snyderverse on Lex Luthor's forehead? Yes, that's probably out there somewhere.
No, it's like the picture of him crying where he's like Snyder just watching the fucking Superman trailer, knowing they'll never fucking get the rest of Zack Snyder's
I think you're
shitty ass fucking
that should be the
vision.
Michael Jordan meme. That's the the one where Michael Jordan's crying.
Stop! Get some help. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to them.
Yep. Nelson's rating, yeah, at first I gave it an 11, I changed it to a 20. Wow. Okay, so you were like just off the charts. Now you're way off the charts. Jay Kelly saying it was a 9 out of 10. All right, cool.
Superman gets made, and I took that personally.
All right, let's see who else has got a rating in here. And then Jay Kelly specifying for a teaser.
It's Mochi. I have it at a 10. Awesome. It gives me a feeling that I haven't felt since No Way Home. Interesting.
Wow, it's been a few years since No Way Home came out. Okay.
3 years, yeah.
Holy cow. Okay. So you guys are seeming. I mean, it sounds like all of you guys love it. So that's fantastic. Well, Manos Time saying since Guy used his ring and has been confirmed to be in Lanterns by Variety, does this mean the show will include powers plus its HBO? So wait, let me read that again. Okay, so Guy as in Guy Gardner, since Guy Gardner used his ring and has been confirmed to be in Lanterns by Variety, has he been confirmed to be in Lanterns?
I mean, he uses the fucking lantern, in Lanterns as in the show.
TV show. I don't know. Was that? It might have been. I think we missed it, but I don't know. Like it's possible. It would make sense. I mean, he's probably gonna, die in the first episode. I'm still holding out to that theory. But Manos' question was, does this mean the show will include powers plus its H? Well, yes, of course. They're Lanterns. They're gonna have powers. It's not like meant to be before they become the Lanterns. They're gonna be Lanterns when the show starts. Just clarifying. And we're talking about, of course, the Aaron Pierre, Kyle Chandler versions of the character, Hal Jordan, and Jon Stewart version of the characters. And Jay Kelly saying yes, it is confirmed. So there you go. We might have just missed it, but yes, we will get Guy Gardner in there as well. So we'll have 3 Lanterns in that TV series, and definitely they will use their powers. How often? We don't know, but we'll find out. Superman is going to be top tier meme potential, Caleb saying. Yes, already the trailer's giving us loads of memes. Tons of memes. We've already collected a few here. Like, for example, when we got Metamorpho. So that was something that John brought to the table. We've got a few more that we're going to get into later in the show as well. All right, well, let's keep the conversation going here. So we got so much to get into today, I swear to God. All right, so where was
We're already half an hour in, and we probably got like 10% of the info.
Pretty much. All right, so here's what I wanted to do. So John, the Superman teaser trailer came out. There's so much that we got out of the trailer. There's a lot of people out there who may not be familiar with some of these actors, with some of these characters. For us, even, we missed a couple of things yesterday because it's like it's not until you pause it, because if you blink and you miss it moments in the trailer. You, for example, didn't
especially
even know
Superman. We
that,
definitely Superman showing up is definitely blinking. You'll miss it.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we didn't even get the logo. But for example, you missed Metamorpho the first time. We both missed the engineer. And for a lot of people who out there who are newbies to the world of DC or just not very familiar with some of the extended mythology of the DC universe beyond what they have seen before, you might be wondering who some of these characters, even some of these actors are. So let's quickly do that. Let's gonna dive into the who's who. I mean, IGN did a good job of putting. They weren't the only ones, but I pulled the one up from IGN because graphically it works the best. And they did a who's who in the new Superman trailer. So I just wanted to go through it real quick. Obviously, David Cornsweet as Superman. If you have seen David Cornsweet recently, you probably saw him in the Twisters movie. He's been on a few HBO Netflix shows, but really, this is going to be the biggest project of his career so far. So, kind of like Henry Cavill when he became Superman in Man of Steel, this is the breakout role, and so far it looks like he's the man for the job. So, of course, Rachel Brosnahan, you probably know her from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's going to be playing Lois Lane, and James Gunn mentioned that the screen test for Lois Lane and Superman, when they put Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornsweet together, just was perfection. Like, it was magical, I think was the word that he used. So looking forward to that. She's definitely the more well-known of the two actors. It's sort of similar to Margot Kidder was probably more well-known than Christopher Reeve when that OG Superman movie came out in 1978. It's a similar dynamic there. Then of course for Lex Luthor we have got Nicholas Hoult. He went all bald for the role as Lex Luthor. You might remember him. He was Beast in the X-Men movies, in the what was it, the X-Men, the
First
Days
Class,
of Future Past,
Days
the first
of Future
class,
Past, Apocalypse,
exactly,
and
not the
Dark
OG
Phoenix.
trilogy, but the movies that came after it. He, that was in the OG trilogy.
Yeah,
was played
Warm
by
Body.
Kelsey
He started
Grammer,
off in Skins.
Exactly.
He was recently in Juror Number 2. He's going to be in Nosferatu.
So he was in that movie with Nicolas Cage. Well, I'm forgetting what the name. It was another vampire movie he was in.
Renfield. Yeah, that was
Renfield.
disappointing.
He just likes to be in vampire movies. But anyway, when he's not doing vampire movies, he's playing Lex Luthor, and basically holding Dirty Harry's revolver because Clint Eastwood is not doing that anymore.
Magnum. Or no, it's a 40.
40?
44 Magnum.
44 Magnum. There you go. Are you feeling lucky, punk? Well, are you?
Are you feeling lucky, punk? Well, do you?
Isabella Merced is feeling lucky because she probably has landed the biggest role of her career so far as well, playing Hawkgirl. She was in that Power Rangers movie that came out a few years ago. She's in a bunch of other stuff. She's
Power Rangers. She was in the Dora.
Exactly.
Explorer.
I was gonna say.
She was in Madam Web, which was unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate for everybody in that one. But she's now gonna be Hawkgirl. She's moving over to the world of DC. I mean, basically the only shot we got here,
rather than 7 seconds in a spider outfit.
Her flying in the trailer was pretty much all animated. You could tell that was all animated, but we will probably see her in a few shots live action.
In the behind the scenes photo, she was on wires, so it looked a little wonky. That was probably the wonkiest shot in the trailer.
But to be honest, we're probably gonna get that for 2 seconds when she just comes to land, right? Like the rest of it is they're gonna match move it to an animated, probably like a CGI double. So, but yeah. Then we have Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Of course, we've been mentioning that. He's got the bowl cut. Not Superman, but James Gunn specifically mentioned that the only reason he cast him in the role is so he can put him in a bowl cut. And Nathan Fillion and James Gunn are, total besties. So, of course, he was up for it. He's got the show The Rookie, which is like for 5+ seasons in.
I think it's going to be. I think the 7th season is going to premiere soon.
Crazy. The man had Castle, which ran for like over 5 years. Now he's got The Rookie. He of course was in Firefly. He's had one hell of a career. He cameoed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and now he's
cameoed as the detachable kid in.
The Suicide Squad. Exactly, TDK.
And he's got the bowl cut, which is what I'm happy about.
Just perfection. And we get to see a little bit of the Green Lantern ring in action, which is now we know the VFX will probably look similar for the Lanterns TV show as well. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
Although it was funny because I was just watching Sonic and they actually make a Green Lantern joke in that movie. God. It was towards the end. I'm not like spoiling anything, but Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey, he's like, I haven't seen something like that since I watched the Green Lantern movie back in 2011. I'm sure Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds giggling somewhere in the dark. Is Mochi saying, I'm happy Gunn made Lex act like Lex and not the Riddler? You know what? Good point. Good point. Although I didn't mind Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, a lot of people weren't the biggest fans. KC in the chat, we got KC joining in. Hello to KC, my friend. You're saying that was someone named Becky G in Power Rangers, but they look like two. Was it? Isabella Merced wasn't in Power Rangers? Okay, you know what? You're probably right. It was probably Becky G. They do look like twins, right? You're right. Okay, we agree. We agree. I see you. And Casey also saying, I wholeheartedly believe that anyone who thinks you need to do research to enjoy a story is mentally okay. Come on, man. Let's not go that far. You wouldn't make something like that even if you tried. Manolo saying 10 out of 10. What else is? Are you referring to the trailer? I don't. Okay. All right. Let's get back to talking about Eddie Gattegi. Eddie Gattegi, I love this man from For All Mankind. And he's a fantastic actor. You know, a lot of people.
Speaking of X-Men First Class,
well,
it's an X-Men First Class reunion.
Exactly, but there you go.
By killing the unkillable mutant, I still haven't forgiven them for that. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Oh yeah, let's kill the unkill. Fuck off. That was like
anyway.
And you know what? I hate how the MCU fucking redid that with fucking Black Bolt too. Like what mouth? It's like that wouldn't work. Shut the fuck up. It's not how that works.
That's not how that works, because he would basically blow that open with the power of the. Anyway, the physics behind that, it works as a cool moment in the movie. But getting back to this, Mr. Terrific for the first time in live action, sans the Arrowverse version, which we don't talk about. Eddie Gattegi is Mr. Terrific in what is pretty much as comic accurate as you can get, with the mask, the jacket. He's got the T-spheres in the movie. Eddie Gattegi. Worst movie, Madam Web or Craven?
Madam Web is definitely the worst movie.
You can't beat getting your villain killed by a Pepsi sign, bro.
I mean, Madam Web is at least ironically funny. At least Craven is like genuinely like decent. It's got like, in terms of aspects in the movie, it's like actually like good. Like the action scenes are good and well shot. The cinematography is good. It's well, for the most part, well edited. And everyone like tries. It's just that the writing sucks, the editing sucks, and you know the pacing wasn't that great. But what?
Dude, you remember? This is okay. So Ismochi must be somebody who's been watching us for a long time. Because remember, over the summer, we were like, okay, so you know, Guy Gardner walks into the crowd and he's like, all right, well, thank you everybody. You know, you're welcome. We saved you. And by the way, yes, we you know. We do take payments by Venmo and gift card and the Cash App. Like, you know, you can PayPal us. Like, you know, anybody Groupon. Like, so it's
Venmo.
Yeah. There it is. Wow, what a throwback. Samochi, you've been around a while, man. You gotta hop in the chat more often.
We'll even take an Olive Garden gift card, right?
Olive Garden. Oh yes. Perfect stocking stuffer for Christmas time. You know, maybe.
Well,
maybe that's
I mean, I was just referencing
Guy Gardner's looking for
Sonic the Hedgehog post-credit scene for the first movie. You didn't hear about any of this, and then he gives them an Olive Garden gift card. But don't get someone an Olive Garden gift card though. Like, get them at least a good like gift card. Like, Olive Garden is. Ugh.
I know. I'm getting a couple of gift cards for stocking stuffers, so there's that. Caleb saying Morbius is good. It made more $1 billion, and Jared Leto is a honka. You know what? He is, and he's also gonna be in that new. What's that new?
He's gonna be Skeletor.
Masters of the Universe. Yeah, he's gonna be Skeletor.
Which is
there you go.
That's like, it's just like once I get like at least kind of excited for a movie, this motherfucker comes in and ruins it.
Dude, 2025 might be the
Tron
year.
3, it's happening with this. It's like
2025 is gonna be the year of Jared Leto, because he's gonna be in Tron Legacy. Was it Tron 3?
No, Tron 3 Ares.
Tron 3 Ares. Oh, okay, Tron Ares, and then he's gonna be in the Skeletor movie. The dude is on a streak. All of those movies are gonna make more $1 billion. Hit the like button, as Manolo was telling you guys to do, if you haven't already. I know a lot of you guys already have, so we appreciate that. Does he have damage on his skull? Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we'll get the damage tattoo back for Skeletor. Why don't this sell? Dude, that Mr. Terrific jacket, they will eventually. I guarantee you that's going to end up in the DC merch store. And when it does, it's probably going to cost like $300. So be ready.
Only $300?
Drop some cash. Oh, okay.
I bet
maybe
they're
more
gonna
like
have
500.
I bet like there's gonna be like a team up with like fucking Air Jordans or something where they sell the
Yep.
sneaker with the
Mm-hmm.
same kind of, and that's
Yep.
gonna be those are gonna be like $1,000, and then a bunch of idiots are gonna fucking buy those. So
Dude, I
that's one
remember
thing I will never understand is like sneakerheads. I'm like, I
I
don't fucking get that.
I can't. Dude, I know a couple of people in my life who are sneakerheads, so I don't personally get it, but I get it. As far as like, yeah, the price of that jacket, yes. In the summer this year with the Olympics for Paris 2024, I remember they were selling like one of those bomber jackets with like the Team USA logo on it, like a tiny one on the arm, even like so dumb. And that thing cost like $350 because it was like the Ralph Lauren Polo Sport thing, and I was like, this is not worth $350. But the Eddie Gategi jacket, I will gladly pay up $1,000 for that. And we got
I
Morcatin
remember,
in the chat. Hello,
yeah, I
Morcatin.
remember there was a really cool Deadpool jacket that FYE was selling, and I couldn't get it because one, it was kind of expensive, and two, they didn't have my size, which was sad. But just reminder that I'm a fat sack of shit. But that's beside the point.
Casey's saying I never thought I'd see MT in a movie until Mr. Terrific in a movie until after I was dead. I just wish he was at least 10 years younger.
Well, then, yeah, then you would never see it. Yeah.
I mean, it will, or maybe he wishes he was 10 years younger. Anyway, they do. I mean, dude, they will sell that jacket eventually. It's gonna end up there. It's a perfect merchandising opportunity. Like John said, it's probably gonna be some kind of Jordan's collab. But you know what? Crypto the Superdog, he's playing a very good boy, and
Even
James Gunn's
though
own
James Gunn
words.
says he's not, he's apparently a
Yeah,
not so good boy.
sometimes not so good boy, but in this trailer he was. Because Superman is like, home, take me home, and Crypto's like, yeah, let's do it, and he
I
grabs him
love
by the
how
cape.
like he's not even flying; he's dragging this fool
Just
all the way
dragging him.
back to the fortress. Like, fuck you, man. All right, yeah.
Well, I mean,
You
what do
know
you
what? I
expect?
could. He's like probably like I could fly there, but like you keep breaking those treats in half, and then only giving me like one of the halves. I know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I know what you're doing. Crypto knows. Crypto knows. Hashtag crypto knows. But this was definitely one of the best shots in the movie. It comes up like around halfway through the trailer, or like a 1/3 of the way. It's right when you're like, oh, what is this trailer? Oh, is that Superman? What is up with the suit? Is there trunks? Is Superman bleeding? What did Batman do that to him? And right as you're having all those questions swirl through your head, Crypto shows up, and you're like, I'm in. Done. Take my
Crypto
money
will
now.
sell 300 million tickets by itself. Honestly, I don't know
Yes.
if you're joking or not. I would say so because, like, pretty much, like, I would say over half of the negative comments I've seen about this trailer, and I'm not even talking about Snyder cults that are like, "Oh, this just looks meh. It doesn't look that great. The color grading, the physics, all that shit." They're like, "Eh," but they're like,
But
"I'd
there's
watch it for
Crypto.
crypto, though."
I watch
I
it for
watch.
Crypto though. That's just the hall pass. That's the hall pass this movie has is Crypto. It's just you can literally shit the bed on everything else in this movie, but the fact that they've got Crypto and they got him so right already, because even though he's not like the comic book version of Crypto in terms of like the species of dog, but it's a freaking alien dog. Who cares? And the way they've animated him so far, at least in the shots we saw, he looks very real.
He
And I
looks
bet you,
good, like
he,
straight up. He looks like a real
yeah,
dog.
he looks like a real dog. He looks, acts, behaves. And then to be honest, it's again James Gunn's relationship with Veta, which they worked together for Guardians of the Galaxy, creating all those animated characters. All the friends of Rocket, the young Rocket, and even Rocket Raccoon himself. Um, you could see that all that technology has translated across here, and they're doing a fantastic job. And the fact that they've got the cape, he's got the cape, he's got the collar, he's got the S on the collar. It's basically Crypto right out of the comic books. It's amazing. So there you go. That's Crypto the Superdog. He's gonna be probably one of the best parts of the whole movie. And these are all the main big characters, but we have other Easter eggs to dive into, John. So, oh, I clicked ahead. We're gonna get into that stuff later. Look up Superman. We talked about that. Where am I? I lost my place. We were on. Don't worry if you're not familiar. Hey, there we go. Okay, Easter eggs. Easter eggs. Let's talk about Easter eggs. Now that we know, all the big cast of characters, um, there's this old thread you can find on X, and of course they're going over all the same stuff we just talked about: Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific. Oh, that jacket, man. All right, cool. But here's something that some of you guys might have not noticed. There's an actual, because if you weren't watching us over the summer, because we talked about this, because they literally, it was I think All Star Weekend. Yeah, I think it was All Star Weekend for the MLB, and so the Cleveland Guardians weren't playing, so their stadium was empty, and they basically went in and shot there for a weekend in Cleveland, Of course, they used to be the Cleveland Indians. Now they're the Cleveland Guardians. The logo of the Metropolis Meteors is based pretty much on the logo of the Cleveland Guardians. It looks very similar. And so they shot a lot of this practically. We saw a lot of the stunt work that they were doing. They literally had these cranes with the wires hanging off of it. So they shot David Cornsweet. They had, of course, right there, he's getting tackled by what looks to be Ultraman. They even in this sequence have Mr. Terrific fighting the engineer. If you remember, John, the videos that we had, the behind the scenes look. So of course, the progressive field, the MLB had a shout out, like, it's this beautiful stadium. It's Tom Hanks' team, and so there was that. I definitely noticed that, but if you guys didn't know if that was a real football field, like in The Dark Knight Rises, they used the Pittsburgh Steelers football field, and even some of the players at the time. In this movie, it looks like the baseball field, is standing in for the Metropolis Meteors as the Cleveland Guardians of the Major League Baseball. And then this shot here, John, people were questioning: is that actually David Cornsweet's hair? Is that his actual mane? And James Gunn was like, well, yes, that is David's actual hair.
Were
it
people
just worked out
really
so well.
fucking clamoring about that?
I'm because and then you know what? To be fair, there's a lot of movies now where we see the behind the scenes and we're like, whoa, they animated it. And so, most of the time, the reasoning is that it's just easier to work with it. They want the hair to do something specific, and they just couldn't achieve that in live action, like in camera. So they just in post production, it's easy enough to do that nowadays with the technology that they have. A lot of the times you see that happen though is like for the underwater scenes, like in Aquaman, they were all wearing ponytails with tracking markers, and then the hair was all CGI. But here, like, I mean, look, we saw even photos of this over the summer. They shot this whole sequence they shot it with just a Baloo stand-in. They shot it with just the girl. They shot it with just David Cornsweet. Then they shot it with David Cornsweet actually saving the girl. And then they actually filmed all the things blowing up, the oxygen tanks or whatever, by themselves from many different angles. And we remember the way they were doing that, they dropped this like big slab of metal on top, and that's how they got the effect. And of course, in the movie, it's meant to be this kaiju. We just didn't know what that monster was going to look like until the trailer drops. So of course, it's all the pieces coming together, like the 10 or 11 different layers or plates, as they call them in VFX terminology, composited together into the brilliant shot here. With probably a lot of the debris there is probably added in post-production. Like, in the Inception shot, where all the supermarket items like go in the air in the dream sequence. A lot of that was CGI, some of that was real. So here, it's a little bit of both. And then, of course, somebody went to the trouble of replicating that in CGI and in Lego mode. So I do appreciate. Maybe somebody should do the whole trailer in Lego mode.
I think that's what they're doing. I think they at the end it says Lego trailer coming.
I would love to see that. That is, you know what? I can't wait to see that. Caleb saying there's no crying in baseball. Exactly. That's what the great Tom Hanks once said. Hulk Mode 365 days. Hello, Hulk Mode. Welcome on to the show. He's calling it 700 million at the box office. We'll get into that. We'll get into the box office potential a little bit later. We've also got Pacerland 317 in the chat. Hello, Pacerland. So many new names. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping in. If you are new, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. We are live 5 days a week here on DCU Daily. And of course, if you want to hit the notification bell, you'll know when we go live with a new show, because our live times can vary. Pacerland, though, saying he's confused, he or she or they are confused. When did Snyder Bros or Gunn haters become color experts? LOL, it was just getting annoying. You know what? Fair. Totally fair. Morkatna saying Japan loves heroes too. Of course they do, man. Japan's got all the cool heroes. You guys got freaking Godzilla over there. Most of us don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about color grading in a movie. So when it comes to like, oh, it's blue tinted, what's going on with this? Some of this is not the final color grade. And even if some of this is how it's going to look at the end, when you're watching the movie, you're paying attention to the story and the characters. If you go to the movie theater, John, and the one thing your eyes are focused on is the color grading, then the filmmakers have not done their job, right? Would you agree that if people went to the movie theater and were like, why is this so blue? Then clearly James Gunn has not done his job of giving you this type of story that you want to see. Because if that's what you're focused on, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Exactly. Like, it's just people nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking.
Yeah, it's just it's not something. Now, speaking of nitpicking, I'm glad somebody did a little bit of nitpicking and found this shot because in the actual trailer, this is a much wider shot. So somebody literally cropped into it, did one of those like enhances in CSI, and found the engineer in the trailer like hidden away. I mean, there was a in the comment on I think that's Instagram where Maria Gabriela De Fria commented. She was like, "Oh wow." And then James Gunn responds to it in the most savage way possible. It's like, I wonder if people can find the engineer in the trailer. She's in there, and when somebody goes in and is like, oh, she's right there. It's in the big shot from the widescreen shot, the wide shot, I should say, of Luthor Corp, the logo, and so she's in there. I mean, I don't know if this is actually her or a CGI double what they're working on, because under her you see like people in offices, but she's up there, but I don't know like what she's doing there. It's like she's assembling something, walking around or something. Oh, hey Hugo, we got Hugo Millie in the chat saying the trailer
Hell
made me
yeah,
cry.
perfect.
Like
Don't worry.
wow, the fact they're still doing
I
CGI and
we
etc.
were
Wow,
all
looked amazing.
crying. We were all
Yeah,
crying. So
they got
you're
7 months
good.
to make it perfect, Hugo. Exactly, exactly. John, do you want to repeat the
Meanwhile,
tradition?
meanwhile, uh, meanwhile, Marvel has 7 months to finish the movie.
They're still filming, right? Oh no, they
No,
recently
they
wrapped.
just
They
wrapped
just wrapped
filming.
filming Fantastic Four, so they've got time, but not as much time as James Gunn does because he wrapped filming like what was it, 4 months ago? So there's a 4 or 5 month head start.
5.
5 month head start for Superman to get a CGI right. Hence why we have a trailer, coming out this week. But yes, Hugo, love it, love it. If you want, Hugo, you are welcome to request a smolder from John, and we will definitely give it to you. For those of you new, you will know what we're talking about when we get to it. That depends on if Hugo wants that
Don't
too.
worry, Hugo. We are going to be talking about Creature Commandos later,
Yes,
so
we will.
we got you.
We
We
will
got
be
you
getting
covered.
into that. We're also going to get into the box office projections for Superman, which is way too early to do that, but questions have come up, and based on the trailer viewership so far, it would hint at very positive numbers. So that's an Easter egg that we missed, by the way, yesterday, right? The engineer was in the trailer.
Sorry, Maria Gabriela de Ferrara.
We didn't mean to,
We fucked up.
honestly. Like it's so tiny. Like she's like, oh my god, it's great, and I bet you she didn't realize that she was in this trailer either. And then James Gunn points it out, and he's like, I wonder if people will find you. It's just hidden away. But hey, we checked that box. It's great. We got another character. Maria Gabriela de Fria doesn't have a huge acting resume, but she's gonna again. This will be her biggest role, and she can hopefully translate that into a bigger role in the Authority movie that she'll hopefully be a part of. But here we were speculating yesterday, John, in this shot. Um, we've got spheres. We've got Hawk Girl. I think that's Is that Hawk Girl? No.
That might
Is
be
that
Lois Lane, actually.
is that Lois Lane? Okay, that's Lois Lane crouching next to Mr. Terrific, who is not impressed by these soldiers, and apparently these soldiers are part of Lex Luthor's private army, which makes sense because what they're wearing, I was like, it looks similar to the Ultraman armor. It's like these are war suits essentially. So yeah, nice nod to Superman for all seasons, John. What do you think?
Looks awesome. I love seeing that purple and green. It's great for Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, you yesterday when we were doing the trailer reaction, you were like, oh, whoa, those are T spheres, and I was like, yep, they're right there. We've got the T spheres. So, of course, we saw the Ultraman in action with Superman, and then we get to this sequence. This sequence looks like it's
Gorilla
in that.
Grodd does make a cameo in the trailer. You could barely see it, but yes, we did.
That
He
was
makes
also
a cameo in Creature Commandos and in this, so he's in a newspaper in this. So
yeah, just a little tiny mention that he exists. This, by the way, looks like it's part of like the Boravia, that third world country situation. Yeah. This doesn't look to be like it's like some kind of military. And remember in the teaser trailer, the 30-second first look we got, there were people walking out of some kind of camp looking into the sky. So there's some kind of situation going on there. Of course, in the trailer itself, we see like the kid holding up the flag. There's people trying to escape, some sort of, disaster or something like that. So whatever is going on, we clearly, somehow it has to do with, Mr. Terrific gets involved. Lois Lane is there, and I don't know what these war suits are about. In BVS, while Lex Luthor was pulling the strings, he went out of his way to make sure that nobody was able to trace back a lot of his work back to him. So obviously, then he'd be put in jail, which he ended up being done so anyway. John, do you think in this movie Lex Luthor is outwardly a scumbag, or a lot of this stuff is meant to be like, these are people that he pays to do his dirty work, but they're not meant to actually be affiliated with him officially, like all these super soldiers that he's sending out.
That's an
after the
interesting question.
metahumans.
I don't know. I think what they might do is like Lex Luthor might showcase his hatred for Superman, but it's not going to be like criminally insane like some other depictions have been, where it's just like, oh yeah, he's just insane. I think he'll just be known as just this rich guy who hates Superman. I think that, but they don't know the sinister underbelly of what he's trying to do to eradicate this dude. I think, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that might be the case.
We got Antonio in the chat now. Hello, Antonio. Welcome on back.
Hell yeah.
Casey's wondering what the budget is. We have some. We will talk about that. We were wondering ourselves, and there were some rumors out there. So we will, and James Gunn clarified those rumors, so we will talk about that. And of course, we've got Lenny in the chat. Hello, Lenny. Welcome on back. And Hugo clarifying Lenny to Lenny that Grodd could be a huge player of the universe. Yes. So far, he's just a mention in a newspaper article, but maybe there'll be more to it than that. And of course, Antonio giving us the reminder to hit that like button if you haven't already, so that way we can get this show in front of more people and more eyes. Now, we do continue on with more reaction to the trailer. So, John, we got a really good look at the relationships between Lois Lane and Clark Kent in this trailer. They clearly know each other. They love each other.
A lot of kissy.
A lot of kissing. A lot of like they're there for each other in the times when they should, they need to be to support each other. It's great.
But where's the sex in bathtubs, Dan? We're missing the sexy time in the bathtubs.
Dude, you can't give everything away in the first teaser trailer. I bet you they're saving that for the actual movie. So
no, that's the porn parody. Not by Axel Braun, because he did retire. So someone else has to take up the reins of that.
Oh my god, yep. Yes, Hugo, we will talk about episode 4 of Future Commandos later on. So that is coming up once we get through all the Superman stuff. Now, of course, you have Peacemaker season 2 in post-production now. And speaking of which, John Cena, the star and Peacemaker himself, he posted about it saying, "Honored to call James Gunn a friend. His passion and respect for art and entertainment are equally matched with his creativity and courage to forge ahead the legacy of such an iconic story and character." John, what do you think about? Again, just nobody seems to have a bad word to say about James Gunn. The man just, he works hard. You could tell.
Except for the barely ever sleeps, but they're not people, so it's fine.
And yeah, I mean, whether it's the actors in this movie or it's actors that James Gunn has worked on in other projects, they just, have nothing but good things to say about him. And I can't agree with them anymore than, John Cena does. So I just wanted to point this out because, again, John Cena will have his Peacemaker show be the follow-up to Superman. Like, that's the next project after Superman next year. So it's good that
it's just. I feel I have again, you know what? I think it'd be really cool if like Superman doesn't have any post-credit scenes. It's sort of like, yeah, that's Marvel's thing. Yeah, I know like a lot of movies do that now because of Marvel, but it would be kind of cool if DC doesn't do that. But like with Frank Grillo, it's just like it would be great to like have a scene, maybe a post-credit scene where it's like, because I mentioned this before, like, for Future Commandos, but then it wouldn't make sense because then Superman's next.
Right.
But it would be cool to be like, Amanda Waller's just like, all right, Rick, you've done a lot of shit for me, even though did some certain stuff with the Future Commandos, blah, 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 and we'll get to that soon enough. But you know what? Because it's like she's like, you know what, fuck you. Peacemaker killed your son. Have at it.
Yeah, and you know what? We're gonna get Frank Grillo in this movie too.
You know, it'd be really fucking cool. You know, it'd be really cool if they like pull a thing where it's like Amanda Waller, where like, because with the stuff that recently happened and that's gonna happen for the rest of the season, for Commandos, yes. Yeah. And then it'd be like a Rick, maybe Alana dies, who knows? And it's like all this other stuff. Rick Flag's like, "Fuck you, bitch!" Or like, "Why the fuck you pull me into this?" Blah blah blah. She's like, "All right, look, I know you're mad, but I know who fucking killed your kid. It's Peacemaker." And he's like, "All right, bet." And then that leaves to Peacemaker season 2, and then they punch for a bit, and then a couple episodes in, and you have, because like there was the arc in the first season of Peacemaker feeling guilt for Rick Flag Jr.'s death.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool. It'd be like, and he'd be like, all right, bro, look, all right, I'm sorry that I killed your kid, but Amanda Waller told me to do it, and then they team up and go after Amanda Waller. I think that would be pretty awesome.
I mean, and then Rick Flag Jr. is gonna come back, and he was like, "You didn't really kill me. I was on a secret mission where I had to like pretend to be dead so that I could save this girl who had to go in hiding because her parents got something." And then we'll get a whole reunion of all the flags together with Peace. I'm doing a Fast and Furious joke if you guys didn't get it. That's how Han comes back in Fast and Furious 8, I think it is. They really deleted the schwans. Oh yeah. Did they? There was a shot of we were wondering yesterday, John. There was a shot with a super robot. What do you call that robot that in the Fortress of Solitude?
Well, I know that there is a like the main robot. Not in the All-Star Superman continuity, but in other continuity where they call the main robot Kelix. But I don't think that's the case, because I think they're doing the All-Star Superman thing where it's like multiple ones. But I know in like Supergirl, there you had the main robot who was Kelix. I don't know if that's this robot or if it's like multiple robots, but yeah, I know that I think they're just called Superbots. I know they were featured in a bunch of different continuities, so yeah,
well,
I don't know what they would be
retro
called.
Futuristic Kryptonian bot here, and he doesn't look like he's in good shape. But more importantly, I do not see the trunks, and definitely the schwans. The schwans is very conveniently hidden behind the hand of the robot and Superman. But anyway, KC, good catch. We did see that yesterday. There seems to be a part of the trailer where we don't get a trunks. It's a slap in the face to all the haters. Yes, Ron, this trailer does do quite a bit of that.
Well,
and
not really.
He's saying I flicking loved the Superman trailer. Ron, we all did, and we were so glad that you.
You're not special, Ron. We all loved it. Fuck you.
Hugo Millie saying if they do end credits, I think save for Superman, it should be. Okay, so if they do end credit scene for Superman, it should be something nice like him playing fetch with Crypto. Yes. Or racing the Flash.
Like he's playing fetch with Crypto on the moon or something.
On the moon. Oh, that's how they should end it. That would be perfect, because then it kind of is full circle moment with like the first art. Yeah, it'll be so good. Caleb, of course, do you really want to taste it? It just depends, man. It just depends. Ron saying I would rather have a Supergirl Easter egg than Peacemaker. We didn't get that in the trailer. So maybe in the first full trailer we'll get it. The story trailer. We shall see. Man of Steel Magnolias in the chat. Say it ain't so, Ron. About what? Mr. Greatest Superman, Mr. Greatest specimen on this planet, me. Oh, okay. You guys are just chatting amongst yourselves. That's okay. That's okay.
We'll just stay out of it. We'll just fucking be here. We'll be your monkeys.
And then Caleb is like, I'm special, like mentally. All right, well, cool. We're gonna get back to talking about what we were talking about, which was, of course, the viewership for the trailer, John. I'm going to go through a couple of posts because it seems like over the course of the past 24 hours, everybody's been so excited they kept sharing the updates on how good the trailer was doing. So in the first 10 hours, the trailer reached 15 million views. This is the official DC channel, because obviously it gets uploaded across multiple Warner Brothers channels, but the DC channel it did 15 million in the first 10 hours on YouTube. And then in the first 24 hours, it soared past 22.5 million views on the DC YouTube channel, which is fantastic. And of course, the total view count was released today. We were going to get into that in a little bit. But as we continue on this timeline, later on we found out that, of course, we actually talked about this already, the first 24 hours. But by the time, when you add in all the different Warner Brothers accounts and the not just YouTube but also like Twitter, aka X, it had over 40.3 million views between YouTube and X in just under 10 hours. So remember, on YouTube alone it was like 15 million on the DC channel, but when you combine all the other Warner Brothers channels in under 24 hours, it got way past that. The 40 million was just in the 10 hours. Now, the actual numbers, the total numbers, we're gonna get into in a little bit, John. But before I do, what do you think about just how well it was doing, in just like even the first 10 hours? Those are big numbers. Those are the kind of numbers that we were getting for DC when, the DCEU was still promising back in the day.
Yeah, promising. But yeah, I think that's good.
Although, like, you can't. Some of the numbers from like BVS were like crazy, man. I remember. Did you go to those YouTube trailers now? They're sitting on like 200 million. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, but it's we're cooking with gas now.
Mm-hmm.
We're cooking with gas, and it's just really cool to see. I just wish I could have seen the audience reaction to Superman when I went to go see Sonic earlier, because that was the main thing I wanted to see. Like, how would the people react? Like, would they like it? Would they hate it? I
The
don't
first
know.
time they saw it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see,
Yeah.
but that. Yeah, the boots look great.
Yeah, I mean, Lex in the chat yesterday was like the boots look like a different color than the rest of the suit. I was like, really? They look like the same red. It's just probably just a color grading. Yeah, and Jay Kelly saying it's the crypto effect. Yes, absolutely. Lenny saying I think what matters is opening weekend. Yes, we will. You know what? And we will get into that in a little bit. We will, because that will be something. I mean, we can't really forecast it now, but we can maybe make a projection based on a very early one, guesstimation based on the viewership for the trailer. Well, John, it looks like while you cook with fire and James Gunn cooks with fire, KC cooks with electricity. A lot safer, you know what? That's a good choice on your part, KC, especially if you have a tendency to leave things on and forget to turn the stove off. Cooking with electricity will get you in a lot less trouble than cooking with gas. So there you go. Well, let's now talk about the records that it is actually breaking after we got all the numbers together. So, by the way, these were some new stills that were not even in the trailer that somebody put out. So, of course, James Gunn did put up this post, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But before we do, look at these stills, man. We didn't get this in the actual trailer.
These are in the theatrical version.
Yeah, it's like, now I want to see that stuff. I'm like, why did we not get that in the version that's on the internet?
So it's a little bit of an incentive to go to the fucking theater and watch them in action.
Okay, it's a baller move. I agree that it's a baller move. But, as somebody who hasn't had a chance to do that yet, I am a little bummed out that, I didn't get to see it. Fine. Okay. I see how it is, Sean.
I'm just saying, go to the theater. Go watch Sonic. It's a good movie.
I will. I mean, that's the plan. I think I'm going to be seeing it tomorrow. Ron saying the fact that the trailer is...
Unlike me, you got to get there early enough. Sorry, there was traffic. I I tried to be there early, but it wasn't early enough.
Yeah.
I'll see it again. It's fine.
Well, either you go see it in a movie theater or you come watch us, because here you go. The shots are right here. Ron saying the fact that the trailer is trending is breaking records just shows how wrong the haters have been for years when they say Superman is irrelevant.
Well, here's the thing. They're just going to keep inventing excuses, though. They're like, oh, nobody cares about this movie. This is breaking records. Number one on trending. Whoa. It's not going to make money. It's gonna suck. And like, all right.
Look, I'm just going to say this. It's a falsehood to assume Superman is irrelevant. Superman is the OG. He is the first superhero to come.
He's been culturally relevant for the past 80 years, and I don't think it's going to change anything.
Even if they didn't make a single Superman movie for like 10, 20 years, people will still recognize the Superman symbol. The Superman, and you know what? One of the biggest things I'm really glad about is the fact that over the last 10, 15 years, Marvel has really come into its own with the MCU and become the biggest movie franchise of all time. And in that time, DC was sort of fumbling the ball a lot. Even though I love some of the movies, I love Man of Steel, but it wasn't nearly having the same impact in the cultural zeitgeist that I think it deserved to have. Because Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, these are some of the most iconic comic book characters of all time. Way more iconic than most of what Marvel has on its roster, quite frankly. No offense to Liz or any other Marvel fan. And I'm not hitting on you guys.
Outside of maybe Spider-Man and the Hulk.
Spider-Man is one of the... Exactly. Like, the ones that Marvel didn't even have rights to, and even today doesn't, because they had to sell them off for bankruptcy reasons to save themselves, which is fair. But I'm so glad that we're getting a Superman movie and a cinematic universe that is hopefully going to live up to the potential of the characters themselves. And even getting other, versions of characters that we haven't seen before, such as Ultraman, Mr. Terrific, a version of Lex Luthor that, quite frankly, looks straight out of the comic books. It's amazing. I mean, you could see that James Gunn has not missed a beat with any of these characters, like Mr. Terrific. That jacket looks better and better the more I look at it. Amazing, 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 amazing. Now, speaking of which, before we get to the James Gunn announcement of the trailer itself, some of you guys were asking earlier about the budget of the movie. Can it be $300 million? Is it really $363 million? So, this is a report that was going around the internet. James Gunn did clarify this. So, the project when it was filming was codenamed Genesis. And here's where this originates from. We reported on this over the summer, by the way, the $363 million number. So, one of the local news outlets, I believe in either Cincinnati or Cleveland, they were talking about, according to the application with the Ohio Motion Picture Tax Credit Program, the budget for the movie is $363 million. Now, this is them coming up with a number. This wasn't like officially in the program. And the reason why they came up with that number was because 25% in the application, it stated that 25% of the film's budget was going to be spent filming in Cincinnati and Cleveland, and they had a rough idea of the amount of money that was available in the tax credit program that was dedicated to Superman, and so it took that number and they said, okay, if so this much money equals to 25% of the budget, $11 million, then you extrapolate that out, and the $11 million was the amount of the tax credit they were getting, and then they went from that to saying, okay, so that they must be spending like a certain amount, that's the tax credit they're getting, which is a percentage of the money they're spending. And I think we worked it out that they might have been spending somewhere between 60 and 80 million dollars to film in Cincinnati and Cleveland, right, John? And so that's how they qualified for the $11 million tax credit, which is a percentage of the amount they spent. And then people were like, okay, so if that's 25%, then you multiply that number by 4 essentially, and you arrive at the number of $363 million. More than 3,200 Ohio residents were projected to be hired. That included all the extras, the people actually working as crew, and even some potential like small day players in the cast. So that's where the number comes from. Hopefully that made sense. I'll leave it on screen here, the little paragraph at the top. But then James Gunn, as soon as this came out, James Gunn debunked it. He says, no, good God, no. I wish I had somewhere even close to that. And it would make sense. This is not the 9th Fast and Furious movie where they, balloon the budget to over $250 million.
Just because of The Rock's ego and all that shit.
Yeah.
All right, Rock has to get $200 million, Vin Diesel has to get $200 million, and then the rest of the movie is like, I don't know, $50 million. So yeah, that'll do it.
Yes, and then Jay Kelly saying, rightfully so, this is the second time Gunn has debunked this, because he did debunk it over the summer. And Mochi, you're a little confused about the $80 million number. That's a rough estimate. So when this came out over the summer, we did a little bit of math, because according to the Ohio Motion Picture Tax Credit application, the program itself, to qualify for the tax credit, you had to spend a certain amount of money, and a certain percentage of that they would give you back, which is how tax credits work. Essentially, if you spend like, let's say $88 million, and 10% of that is going to get credited back to you. Let's call that would be $11 million. Then people took that number and multiplied that by like 4 to say, oh my God, $363 million. So that's really where that comes from. Again, these are estimates. That's the whole reason why James Gunn is debunking this, because he's like, don't just do the math yourself, because you're missing the point of Hollywood accounting. Hollywood accounting is the magical thing here in all of this.
Yeah, it was it reminded me a lot of what's his name, Takashi Yamazaki, who directed Godzilla -1. Everyone was like, oh yeah, this movie, because like everyone was they revealed the budget was like, oh yeah, $15 million for Godzilla -1, and people go like, they did this on a $15 million budget. Oh my God, that's crazy. And then the director Yamazaki had to come out and be like, no, 15 million, no, we had 10 million.
Exactly.
We had less money.
And less money.
And then they win an Oscar. So
exactly, and deservedly so. And then in this case, James Gunn said that form itself was fake. Like somebody must have done it. Some assistant might have filled out a form with random numbers, like a blank form, and then posted it or whatever, because he sent it to his own accountants and financial team at Warner Brothers and DC Studios, and they were, even Peter Safran, he was like, Peter, do you recognize this? Who did this? Was I supposed to have $300 million?
Here's the thing, and if that's the case, somebody could go get arrested for that, because that's forgery, that's fraud, that's fucked up, and somebody's going to jail for that one, or has some good lawyers, but either or, that's
exactly
fucked up.
But it's been debunked. James Gunn has done it multiple times. So guys, the movie's budget is not $363 million. I think in reality, you're looking at something that is probably at most $200 million, and even that seems like a stretch. I feel like the number's probably between 150 to 200.
Because here's the thing, they probably wanted to keep it. If I were to guess, I would guess 150 to 175, only because they know they're gonna have to market the absolute fucking shit out of this movie. They're gonna
spend another like 150 million.
They're probably spending like 200 million on like marketing alone. They're probably
spending more summer on marketing of Superman, right?
Than the actual movie itself, because they know they have to market this shit. Because David Zaslav's James Gunn is like, you better fucking cure cancer. So they're gonna have to do a lot to sell this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, like it's breaking numbers, but remember, like you have like the people
James Gunn is breaking his back to sell this movie.
And so I mean, you have the views, but the thing is, a lot of those comments are like, "Oh, this movie looks like it's gonna blow, it's gonna flop, this sucks. Only good thing about this was crypto, blah blah blah." So you have all those, and then you have the dislikes and all that. So not every view means like, "Oh yeah, this person is gonna." Plus, people have seen it multiple times, like me. So people have seen this multiple times. It's not just that equating to a ticket sale, so you have to think about that as well. But I still think it'll do a good job. I think it will, I think it'll, at the very least, it would get like 700 million. I would love to see this get $1 billion, because I could see it getting there, but you would have to give it time. You have to do the Deadpool and Wolverine thing where you have to like let it grow, give it time.
We're gonna get it. I want to save that conversation for a little bit later, John. But that's I agree with you.
I'm just saying now.
Yes. And by the way, guys, so many of you guys watching, so many new names. We love that you're here. If you haven't already, hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's move back over to the trailer, John. Even today, as of a few hours ago, I don't know if it's still #1, but as of a few hours ago, the Superman trailer was trending #1 on YouTube, and it had like over 25.5 million on the views on the DC channel.
What is he like kissing him? Like, what the fuck?
No, I bet he's just whispering something in his ear, and Lex is just furious. That's, I think, what's happening.
The second tower just fell.
Yeah, that's exactly where George W. Bush's reaction was. Actually, it was on live TV when that happened. But anyway, we're not gonna go back to 2001. Let's just stick to 2025. And speaking of Superman 2025, 250 million views. James Gunn put this up a few hours ago. We were preparing for the show, and this finally came out, and I was like, John, look. And I sent him a link. I sent him several links, let's be honest. I barrage him with this stuff all day long before the show. A little bit of insight to how we prepare for these episodes. There's a lot of research involved, let's just say that. So James Gunn said, crypto really did take us home. With over 250 million views and 1 million social posts, Superman is officially the most viewed and the most talked about trailer in the history of both DC and Warner Brothers. This is because of all of you. Thank you. We are incredibly grateful, and most of all, excited to share this movie with you in July. Happy holidays. Come on, that's not what he's doing. Look,
consider this mercy.
Hey, James Gunn actually likes Man of Steel, and he has worked with Zack Snyder before. But yes, for all those Snyder bots, we're moving on. Now, speaking of 250 million views across social media and YouTube and all the different channels of Warner Brothers and DC, let's put it into some context. Variety put this article out, which I think really provides us a bit more. I mean, as much as James Gunn said this is, the most viewed in DC and Warner Brothers history, let's compare that to some of the other trailers that have come out this year, right? Because we've had a few big movies other than Superman. I mean, Superman isn't even coming out this year, but we have had a few big hits this year that, like Deadpool and Wolverine, for example. So while Superman has now become, the most viewed trailer in the history of DC and Warner Brothers, Joker Folie Due earlier this year launched with 167 million views for comparison in its first 24 hours. Then Inside Out 2, which became the highest grossing animated movie of all time with $1.6 billion. It's also the highest grossing movie of the year. That debuted with 157 million views in the first 24 hours. And of course, at the very top of the list for the year is Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine, which still holds the record for the biggest trailer launch of all time in the first 24 hours with 365 million views. Enough views to have basically 1 million view, basically for each day of the year. Now, 365 for a third movie in the franchise where you're bringing in Wolverine and Deadpool's joining the MCU and you've got Blade coming back and we're about to make a name for ourselves and you've got all the different things, Elektra, X-23 versus Super. I mean, it just goes to show you this is the first movie in the new cinematic universe, probably one of the most important trailers of the last 10 years period. And dude, for comparison, the $250 million views, it's not even a movie that is out yet, and it's the first trailer. So, what do you think, John? Like, just for context, like look at those numbers. It blew away the Folie Due numbers. I mean, and that movie did terribly, but like still, even compared to Deadpool and Wolverine, which made over $1 billion itself, and even more than Inside Out 2, which made $1.6 billion. It's great. I mean, DC is finally, where it's supposed to be. It's punching, at its weight, not like underperforming. I mean, what are your thoughts on these numbers from James Gunn?
It's damn good. Like I'd love to see it. Like it's about damn time, I like as much as I have like as much as I hate the fact that DC can do a lot of dumb shit, not just movie wise, but everything wise. It's nice to see them getting some love,
Yeah.
I really like to see that. I think that's pretty damn cool. So
Yeah.
good for them. I'm glad. Caleb, James Gunn says he likes Man of Steel.
Hello, Marco Ramos. We got you in the chat. Of course, Lenny's. Wait, is Fiona still in the chat? Oh, Lenny's trying to figure out if Fiona's. Fiona was here earlier. I think she might have fallen asleep, by the way. Man of Steel, Magnolia is still in there. Ron, Joker sucks at you. Yes, I mean truly. We try to forget that movie exists. But anyway, yes, Deadpool and Wolverine was pretty big, but 250 million. To be honest, it blew away any of my expectations. Like I wasn't expecting it to be that big of a number. Like maybe I was expecting over 100 million, yes, but 250 million is huge. That is a huge number, and I'm just happy that we've got that now because this is if this is a very very early start to the summer of Superman. I mean, you can call this the winter of Superman maybe because I bet you we're gonna now start to get a nice trickle of official images and more maybe a poster and so I'm just excited. The promotional drive has kicked into hopefully overdrive from here because as you can see they've already launched new merchandise, dude, and some of this merch is directly based on the trailer. Take me home, much like the first poster said. Look up. Now you've got a whole set of shirts and hoodies with like the Superman logo that sort of harkens back to that metallic icicle sort of a logo from the OG 1978 Superman movie, except with the tagline "Take Me Home." I'm like, John, you're a collector, of posters, a real connoisseur, if you will. Will you be getting yourself that "Take Me Home" poster and putting it back on your wall?
I have no room. You can see I have no fucking room on my walls. I already have the 2 T-shirts and my mug. I don't think I need any more. I like the classic look. As much as I think the icicle steel look kind of looks cool, I think I'll just stick with like the more classic look. I kind of like that more than what is shown here.
I want to get that hoodie, and I personally I love that mug, and I really do like that poster. I don't know, guys. What do you think in the chat? Is any of this tickling your fancy, or you're gonna wait until we get maybe the Mr. Terrific jacket in the merch store? Of course, we got Mr. Carter 22 in the chat saying 250 million views for Superman and 242 million for Deadpool Wolverine, not counting the Super Bowl. You know what? That is impressive. If those numbers are true, that is very, very impressive. And again, goes to show you just how big the Superman trailer is, especially in terms of just what it means for not just the DC universe, but the comic book genre as a whole that seems to have been struggling and been riding a roller coaster of late. Maybe Superman will begin a new era in the cinematic, the genre of comic book movies, especially superhero comic book movies. Ron saying 800 million would be tops for Superman. Thanks, Snyder. I think you can do better than that. It all depends on how good this movie is. Why would you blame Zack Snyder for how good this movie does? I mean, it's not if he's got some cultist fans, but it's not like Zack Snyder's out there telling them to be cult, his part of it, his cult. I don't think Zack Snyder is out there telling people like he's running a cult of DC that everybody should join. But anyway,
right.
Jay Kelly saying surprising considering the DCU doesn't have a proven track record. But then again, crypto. And you know what? Yes, probably half of those views are because of crypto. Because I bet that photo got shared around and a bunch more people saw the trailer than they were even hoping to see that day. A lot of people might have been like, oh, there's a new Superman trailer? And then somebody sends them the photo of crypto and they're like, bet I'm going to watch that trailer. So Lenny's like, I can't believe John isn't buying more merch. Maybe John's going to get some Christmas gifts with more Superman merch.
I'm broke. Like... I can't afford everything. I still need to buy a couple more Christmas gifts, and it's only 5 days away. So,
Dude,
I gotta.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Good, yeah. Crypto should replace Grogu. Grogu fucking sucks. Fuck Grogu. He's lame. Little shit.
Yep. And Casey asking, do you think there'll be a Super Bowl trailer? Yes, I do believe. I think that's when we're gonna get the next trailer for this movie is the Super Bowl. Until then, I mean, we may get posters, we may get more, appearances from the cast at events and stuff. But I do think the next time we get a big trailer, it's gonna be the Super Bowl. And to be honest, the Super Bowl will be here in no time. Like you'll blink and it will be here because it happens at the beginning of February. We're basically on Christmas, then there's New Year's, and before you know it, January's done, and then all of a sudden there's Super Bowl time. So we're not gonna have to wait very long. Lenny's saying Superman does not need to make $1 billion. It needs to be good, entertaining, and spread the word of mouth and result in sales for the Supergirl film. Exactly. Much like you guys, spread the word of mouth. Like bring more people into the show. We say that selfishly, but we also say it because we would love to grow our community and have more of you guys in the chat. We have so many names already today. So now, John, speaking of the box office potential of Superman, like Man of Time was like, with these record-breaking things that is doing, 700 to maybe $1 billion, is not out of the question. Do you think if we somehow, after this trailer, on the back of this trailer, and other trailers that are to come, if we end up bringing in Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU, would that even further?
Why the fuck would James Gunn say, oh yeah, I considered it for a little bit, but then no, we're doing our own thing. Then why would he be like, oh yeah, but now I'm considering it again? Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, okay, I mean, if Robert Pattinson's like interested, like, oh, I want to be because I think the DCU will be cool. I think it'll be great. Okay, fine. But like James Gunn already said, he already said no. I contemplated it for a little bit, but then I respected Matt Reeves' vision. I want to keep it separate. He wants to keep it separate, so that's what we're doing. Yeah. Why the fuck would he say that and then be like, oh, but I actually like really want the Batman to be part of the DCU? It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I personally think this is a little blown out of proportion. Like, yes, there may yet be more conversations, but honestly, I just don't think.
Stop making our packs in the DCU happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's. Ron saying the Batman 2 got delayed because James Gunn wants 2025 to be the Superman year. I don't know if that's exactly the reason why.
No, it's just Matt Reeves can't write a fucking script in under like 3 years. That's why.
Lenny's like, I wish everyone stopped saying Pattinson is going to be in the DCU. It's not happening. Even if Robert Pattinson wants it. Quite frankly, Robert Pattinson can want it all he wants. It's not his decision to make, and
Yeah, even movie buff said James Gunn already said it's not happening.
yeah, exactly. So, well, I just wanted to bring it up because the rumor's still floating around. Jeff Snyder tends to get things right most of the time, so I figured it's worth a mention. I believe there was did I miss something? I think there was one article that we were meant to be talking about that oh yes, okay. So going back to this Variety article, let's kind of quickly take a gauge. You guys were talking about, well, what is the box office potential for this movie? Now, John, I have a question for you. You mentioned it earlier. Do you feel like now that the trailer has had 250 million views, it's breaking records, do you think they can translate this success? I mean, it's still a whole marketing campaign ahead of them into $1 billion at the box office. Like Manos Time is saying, the range now is 700 million to $1 billion. Do you think that's an accurate assessment?
I don't.
Hunter
Thing
Iggy
is,
also wondering.
something about me. I feel like it's not gonna make $1 billion. I think like maybe 800 million. I'm playing it safe a little. Because to be fair, I said Joker 2 was gonna fucking get like 600 to 800 million at the box office, and look how fucking that turned out. So I mean, on the at the very lowest, if it has like good critical score, all that, I think it could maybe like 650 to a 700 million at the lowest. I think 800 to maybe 850 at the highest. I don't think it'll hit $1 billion. Obviously, I'm going to be glad to be proven wrong if that's the case, but I just can't see this making $1 billion. I just think like it kind of Superman has and the DC brand has kind of just been too tainted at this point to like really be
the
that
first
good.
Batman movie made like over 700 million, and now that's also in
but that's Batman. Like we've had
yes, but it's also this is Superman. Like, see, you're not like talking about Batman and all of a sudden this is Green Lantern. Batman and Superman are the two most iconic. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing, but the thing is,
Batman
was luckily more recent for people.
Yeah.
It was during the late 80s to the 90s where Michael Keaton was popular. And then you had the Nolan movies, which were really popular.
They made like $3 billion almost
and then
combined.
You got Robert Pattinson. With Superman, you had, sure, in the late 70s to the 80s, you had Christopher Reeve. And then you had nothing until 2006. And that failed. And then you got Man of Steel, which pretty much failed on a critical standpoint.
No, hold on. But I do not appreciate the slander from Man of Steel's box office. Just a second, though, because I want to here's the thing. Man of Steel made like close to $700 million. And I remember at the time when they released the movie, the budget for that movie was a little over 200 million. All the product placements that they had, they basically recouped 30 to 40 million of that, and just getting Sears, IHOP, 7-Eleven, and all the other different things that they had in there.
Sears.
So basically, Warner Brothers was, by the time the movie came out, it was at the budget of the movie, they were in for like 160 some odd million dollars, and then of course they spent like $100+ million marketing it. When you look at that and you look at the box office for Man of Steel, it wasn't the most profitable movie, but it was about as profitable as a lot of these tentpoles are, where you make like $50 or so million in profit, and that's enough for you to like then let's make another one. I'm just saying it didn't lose money. I mean, even if most people didn't like it, Man of Steel was profitable, but it did
was profitable, but not as profitable as WB wanted, and that's
exactly
the thing. Is Superman has been like Batman has been like. Sure, you might have gotten Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, but then you immediately got the fucking Nolan trilogy like what was it? Like
it was 7 years later.
About 7, 8, 9 years later, you got the Nolan trilogy.
Versus 2005. Yeah,
so that saved it from being like it stopped, and then but then Nolan came in and like really saved that brand. Yeah. And then you got like Ben Affleck, which was a surprise for a lot of people, but then you got the Batman. So I feel like Batman has been more consistent while Superman has not. Like the gap between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins was not as big as there's an
11-year gap between, people had last saw Superman movie or movie with Superman in theaters in 2017. So even that
Well,
was
I'm
like by the
saying
time this comes out 8 years
like
ago.
Christopher Reeve to Brandon Routh, and then Brandon Routh to Man of Steel. They're bigger gaps. They're more. There are more failures in the mix, and the disastrous of Superman Lives and Flyby, and the original Batman versus Superman. So you had all this stuff that acquainted with Superman more so than Batman. Batman has been more consistent. Superman has not.
No, it's complete. You're completely right with that. Now, by the way, Ron and Lenny picking a fight with me, so let me put you guys down for a second. Respectfully, from a financial standpoint, Superman Man of Steel was a success. Critically, it was not a success. Like, we can look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, clearly it wasn't a success. Even with the audience score was relatively high, but it wasn't like in the 90s. I agree with you that just because it made money doesn't mean it was successful. I'm just saying financially it was successful. Financially it more than made its money back. So, and yes, Batman and Robin was the highest grossing Warner Bros. Movie in 1997. Would you call that a success? Here's the other thing, guys. A lot of us don't take into account like how these movies do post theatrical run. You were like, how do they do in their pay one window? How does it do on SVOD, PVOD? How does it do on digital? And how does it do on physical media? What about like once it gets syndicated into broadcast? What about international distribution? There's so many avenues through which so many market ways that a movie can make its money back. And movie studios always, like with their Hollywood accounting, can make any movie look like it lost money. To this day, 20th Century Fox and now Disney will tell you that the original Star Wars movie did not make money. They were in the negative. Empire Strikes Back lost money. And you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? It clearly didn't. But, that's how Hollywood accounting works. I'm just saying on the surface level, when you talk about how much they spent versus what they got back and how much of that goes to the studio, Man of Steel financially was successful. Critically, not nearly as successful as they would have liked for it to be. And the audiences just didn't vibe with it. I mean, even though there's a lot of fans, and I think in the years since the movie came out, a lot of fans have fallen in love with the movie more so than even when it was first in theaters. And clearly that's why a lot of people wanted Henry Cavill to return as Superman. I can say that I loved Man of Steel and Henry Cavill, and still am really excited for David Cornsweet's Superman. And I think this movie has the potential. And to be honest, when we started this conversation, I was trying to say that the lack of success for Man of Steel, had more to do with the audiences not saying, it didn't have to do with the fact that they didn't go to see the movie, because the movie made like almost $700 million. Now, it was 11 years ago, so it's a different landscape. We're post-COVID, it's different time. But still, it wasn't because people didn't care about Superman or didn't go to see it. It was because people went to see it and didn't necessarily connect to it or like it the way that they would have liked to see a Superman movie. Now, when you take the interest level, which clearly the 250 million views shows there is still in the character, and you combine it with a version of the character that a lot more people are connecting to, crying watching this trailer, saying, and their dads are telling them, this is my Superman. This is even this is the Superman I've been waiting for. Like, it took me back to watching the 1978 Superman in the theater in Brooklyn, like Adam was on the channel. That, to me, when you add all of those things together, combined with the fact that this DC Studios is on a win streak, like one of you guys pointed out earlier, with the Penguin, with the Batman, however long it takes for them to get the Batman 2, and the next thing they've got after that is Peacemaker season 2. All of these things that are doing Creature Commandos right now. When you add all of that positive buzz and momentum, I think that Superman can make $1 billion if they play their cards right. I mean, nobody in their wildest dreams, not even Warner Bros. Executives, thought that Barbie would make $1 billion and be the highest grossing movie of the year. Nobody thought that. People were like, it's gonna be Mario, and Mario came out and did that, and then Barbie comes out and it did it while running parallel to Oppenheimer, which also made almost $1 billion. Can you imagine if Oppenheimer wasn't around? Barbie could have made even more money. It's crazy. So it's very possible. And you know what? Quite frankly, it's freaking Superman. It's he's more popular than Barbie. I mean, he is. As popular as as that Barbie character is. So it just goes to show you that if you make a good movie, people, it's like if you build it, they will come. And Superman, James Gunn is building the DCU, and hopefully people will come. So far, they've come in droves and 250 million views worth. So, end of rant. Sorry, guys. I don't usually go on rants. This is like John's domain. But I'm just trying to say, I agree with you in many ways. I'm also just going to say that Man of Steel didn't lose money. That's at least theatrically. But there you go. And as Lenny is saying, it will make a lot of money. Exactly. So, and on that note, we shall move on.
Well, Lenny said they need some re-releases for 2027. Well, we're gonna be getting them. We just
Yes.
none of them have been announced just yet.
Yeah. Now let's get into some of the other fan reactions on the internet, some iconic memes that we were getting. Superman teaser, me, yes. I think that was us. We were waiting for the Superman teaser like that. Literally, we were like live till like 2 a.m. the night before, and then woke up like 9 a.m. to watch the trailer and react to it.
And
Not
I was
a lot
late
of sleep
anyway.
was to be had. I mean, but we still were up early in the day, so oh my god, yeah. But it was worth it. It was worth it just to see crypto, rushing through the snow. Somebody decided to compare what the Batman's teaser trailer views were like in the first 24 hours. I mean, look, it's not taking into account the overall every channel that it was posted on. This is just the DC YouTube channel views. And yeah, you know what? Batman, like you said, John, is still the more popular character. Even if Superman is the man who leads the charge for DC, Batman is and probably will forever be, the house. DC is the house that Batman built. That they're Detective Comics. Um, I just like to point that out. Anyway, we go from that to this one. An interesting take, to say the least. Bleeding superhero, steamy romance, unhinged villain, identity struggle. Where have you seen that before? Welcome back, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, John. Do you agree with this take?
I mean, since
got all the
Sam Raimi's
pieces.
Spider-Man is pretty goated, yeah, I'd fucking say
That's a compliment, right?
that.
Like that's meant to be a compliment, or is that supposed to be derogatory? I don't know if this is meant to be a compliment or not. The way it's written,
I think it's a compliment because Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is fucking amazing. So, yeah, let's.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I love those movies. I mean, grew up with those movies. Here's the one you sent me, and James Gunn responded to this. Somebody went and drew out basically one of the shots from the movie where Crypto is basically helping take Superman home. And somebody decided that they were gonna like do that in animated form. John, what do you think about this? Again, it just goes to show you how excited people are. Like Dick Tracy, Rogues Gallery saying a Superman's best friend. I had to draw this after the new trailer. Thank you, James Gunn, for the inspiration and bringing.
We have
Crypto
Superman's
into
best
this
friend
movie.
and then Superman's pal in the same movie.
Exactly. Even though we didn't get much of James Olsen, we hopefully will get more of that in the future. But it's just
We got him
just
in the
amazing
teaser
see.
to the teaser, so that's pretty good.
Well, even then, it was like a little bit. He was in the background.
Let's hope he doesn't get shot immediately.
Do you think that they're friends in this movie
think so.
when we see
I like
them?
to think so.
How well do you think they know each other?
I think they're pals.
Okay.
I think they're pals.
It's just, by the way, this shot here, I think is literally from one of the trailer shots. Let me see if I can find it. Is it? Oh, right there. That's the shot. Right there. He probably took that exact frame and, from the trailer and just animate. It's just perfect. It's great. I just love the creativity out there. James Gunn is like, I love that. And the fact that James Gunn is like attentive enough to like find these things. And I mean, he's probably getting tagged in a million different things and he just finds them and responds to them. It's amazing. I'm telling you, this man is breaking his back to, put the DC universe and back on top. So, and this is another fan poster, John. What do you think about this one? Very, very classic 1978. We were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, you'll believe a man can fly.
Hell yeah. It just says look up. Look up, you'll believe a man can fly. Maybe you put those two together.
Yeah.
July 11th.
I'm glad they didn't go with you'll believe a man can fly again.
Again. Again. You will once again believe a man can fly. That's too long. I think that's why they didn't do it. It's too long. And I get more reactions to Crypto. Crypto, take me home. We must protect Crypto at all costs. Yes. If somebody does something to
he
Crypto,
might be protecting us because he's super powerful.
Essentially. I mean, and this person here was like, I wasn't expecting him to be so cute. Look at this little cape, dude. My biggest surprise in the trailer
he has a cape.
is the fact that he had the cape. I did not expect him to have the cape. I did not expect him to have the collar. I didn't expect him to have the S on the collar. Yeah, I mean, and we are all ready for a hopeful and lovable Superman. It's just great. This is probably my favorite.
I was expecting like a bandana or a scarf. Oh, they're not going to have the cape because in that image with Crypto that was released, he had no cape. So it's like, oh, are they not going to have the cape? Oh, they might have the collar. They might have like a bed. No, James Gunn's like, go fuck yourself. We're putting the cape on the dog.
By the way, we got Angelica in the chat. Hello, Angelica. Sorry, she's apologizing that she's a bit late. It's okay. Thanks for joining us. You can always be kind and rewind.
It's okay.
If you'd
Just
like.
don't harass the Rugrats. That's all we ask.
Lenny's saying, John, please stop eating junk food as the bell hinge is getting a bit much.
What?
The belly? I don't know what that's meant. Basically, she's telling you to stop eating junk food, John. Eat healthy. We also have some more new names. We got Mackie in the chat.
Some sugar on me.
Ron loves the artwork. We love the artwork too, Ron. Just hope DC is more original, like the Star Wars trilogy. Is more like the original Star Wars trilogy than the Disney Star Wars. I hope so too. If you believe in James Gunn, that's probably what they're gonna do. Frankie G was saying, yes, that's the Sam Raimi comparison is a compliment, and we both agree with you there. By the way, Mackie asking an interesting question, John. I want to ask you this. Now that we have gotten this trailer, we know what this movie looks like. Do you feel Marvel is confident enough to keep the release date for Fantastic Four, which is 2 weeks, July 26th, I believe, versus July 11th for the Superman? Do you feel like Marvel is now under more pressure or feeling the pressure to move the release date for Fantastic?
No, I don't think they're gonna move it. I think they're gonna be like, this is competition. We gotta stand our ground. They have one blue hero. We have 4. We have family.
Yeah.
Marvel's first family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
What? Mighty Morphin, like the Power Rangers? What? I'm so confused.
Yep, pretty much. You can't skip them. I love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They were fantastic. By the way, Lenny clarified what her comment was. I think she was telling you like stop belching.
I'm not belching.
When did he belch? Even I didn't hear him belch, Lenny. Like, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
What? Like, even then, I mute myself or like.
You mute yourself. That's okay. That's great. In that case, the point stands. You should.
Oh my god, that would be a horrifying fucking imagery right there. Imagine John dancing on a pole in a strip suit while sugar getting poured on him while Def Leppard is playing. Nobody wants to see that at all. Maybe Hugo, but like outside of her, I don't think so. I don't think anybody wants to see that. We'll just stick with the smoldering right now. I'm very tired. That's why I'm talking like this.
All right, enough of that. All the new people in the chat are like, "What is going on right now?" Did we do this specifically for Hugo Millie? John and Hugo have got a thing going on since Lenny wasn't interested, and clearly Lenny's given up on trying to get John an Irish wife. But it's the also curious lore, so we like to continue it. Ron is like John in sexy mode. There you go, sexy mode activated, John. We went from belching to daydreaming essentially. That's the scaled. That's the scale we work on, guys, and we're immediately back at the other end of the scale. There you go.
I did that on purpose. I had to drudge that one up a little bit, not gonna lie.
You guys just made me listen to him belch. This is crazy. That's wow. Lenny's saying, by the way, she would watch you do that. The whole strip suit on a pole thing, apparently. That's great. At least we know you'll have an audience, John. I don't think this is going to be YouTube friendly though. We'll have to probably do it on Twitch because Twitch I think allows that kind of thing, but not YouTube. So
one of my friends said to make us hate Lex Luthor a lot, he would have to kill Crypto. Then Superman's gonna go fucking John Wick on his ass.
There you go. Yep. You owe me a Coke.
That would be an interesting in the revolver because someone said he has kryptonite bullets in there. Like, what if he's like, "All right, Superman."
And then Crypto jumps in.
But I can't do this, and then he points it at Crypto. And that would make Lex Luthor the absolute fucking worst Lex Luthor of all time if he just goes full Alfie Allen on the dog and just fucking shoots him. I've taken your fortress. I've taken your dog. What are you gonna do about it? He's like, I'm gonna fucking put a pencil in your eye. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. He's gonna go full Zack Snyder Superman. I'm gonna break your neck. Tell that to Zod Snap Neck.
Dude, Man of Steel, Magnolia. I think this is an episode of the show you should probably listen to with your headphones on, because
why don't you get headphones,
alert.
Man? Tell your girlfriend you need headphones. That's like your Christmas gift.
That's crazy.
Or Hanukkah gift or Kwanzaa gift. I don't want to assume, you know.
Exactly. This show's starting to get to that unhinged level. But we still have a few more things to do, John. We gotta continue the conversation. But we are gonna move off the Superman topic briefly. Let's talk about Clayface for a moment. We got a few more details regarding Clayface. So I wanted to kind of quickly look at this. And there's one of the insiders, Brandon Davis, who reports on these things, comic book related things, all the time. He mentioned that the vision for the Clayface movie is meant to be sort of like DC's version of The Fly, and that the filming obviously starts early next year, and that we don't yet have a director. Obviously, we know those two things.
Get Brandon Cronenberg to do it. That would be great. I don't think he would ever do it, but like that would be great.
I mean, it sounds like if they're going for like The Fly, the budget is $40 million. It seems to me like they're going for something that's much more low budget. Like, do you feel like this is a true like assessment of what they're looking to do with the movie, and if so, would you be interested?
I think, I mean, I'm more than interested already, but like as long as it depends who they get for a director. Mike Flanagan writing it is one thing, but like you're either going to get a really good director and like a great movie outside of that, or you're going to get a mid movie with a great script. Like, cause like I remember the thing I always go back to, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a big one with Kenneth Branagh. Frank Darabont, who wrote the script for that movie, he was like, that's the best script I've ever written for the worst movie I've ever seen. So, and it's a terrible movie. It's bad. Like Robert De Niro's great, but the rest of the movie is pure pretentious ego stroking from Kenneth Branagh. And I do think Kenneth Branagh is a very good director, but like that, he went full fucking like pretentious douchebag on that set. Like you were not allowed to call the monster on set. Like he banned the word. You couldn't call him the creature or the monster. You had to call him something else. I forgot what it was, but it was like it like how the book was called. It was like a whole thing. And like Frank Darabont was like, that was like an amazing script, and then it like went to complete dog shit. So you can write like Mike Flanagan could probably write a great script, but as long as you get a great director, that great script will translate. However, if you get a fucking shit director, like if you get like fucking like Ari Aster or something, or like Jonathan Liebsman, or like or somebody like that, like that's not going to translate well because they're not good directors. So, or like fucking Adam Sandler or something like that. Like just don't get someone like that. Get someone who's like has horror experience, who's directed big budgets, but can also work with the small personal scale that this movie seems to be. So I think they need to do that. That would be much better because they need to get a good director for this. Like Mike Flanagan is too busy, so he's not going to be. I'm honestly over superhero villain movies without the hero doesn't work. Have you seen The Penguin?
It could work with the right mix of talent. I think it just and the right story. Like you can do it. Unfortunately, it's also one of those. Caleb just with more sarcasm there. And you know what? But I will say though, with the budget that they have, it's almost like you can give it to a director who can make the most out of that money. Like for example, what are the name of the guys who do the Bad Boys movies, the last two that they've done?
You mean the guys who directed the superhero movie that was apparently so bad didn't get released?
Right, but those guys, like they have made those new Bad Boys movies look like
but the thing is, those are action comedies.
Of less than $100 million.
This is a horror tragedy.
I'm just saying you need a director who can really, like use that creative box as a means to like think of new ways to do things. Like if it's a creature feature, if it's something like that, then I mean 40 million could be more than enough. But if you're going for a VFX heavy version, there's creative ways to get the most out of it. Like you said, Godzilla 1, like they had $10 million to do the VFX that they did. It's clearly possible. You can do it. So it just depends on, like Lenny's saying, somebody very creative. They need to find the right director who clearly sees the same vision that Mike Flanagan has, what he sold James Gunn and Peter Safran on. And if they do get that, then I think this movie could, have a lot of potential. The fact that they're trying to get it into production so soon and without even a director attached, I mean, we don't even know who's going to play Clayface, especially because we don't know if this is going to be like Alan Tudyk in the role since he's voicing Clayface in Creature Commandos. It's going to be interesting to see how this project goes along, moves forward, but we'll follow it as the news, keeps on coming. But yeah.
Because it's like, I remember someone mentioning Guillermo del Toro, and that would be awesome, but
I just don't know if he's got the time.
He's doing post-production for Frankenstein right now, which just wrapped filming a couple months ago.
And then Hugo's suggesting the YouTube brothers who directed that recent horror. Okay.
Is it the Ready or Not duo? Is that who you're talking about?
Lenny's saying, "Oh, I'm insane."
The Radio Silence.
The bad voice. Come on, man. I mean, come on, girl. Like, I was just trying to make a point, but anyway. See Me Not. Is that the name of the movie? Hugo's suggesting See Me Not. Man of Steel Magnolia saying, I keep thinking of Darkman when I try to imagine a Clayface film. Okay. Caleb saying, here's a wild take. Josh Trank, who directed Chronicles for Clayface. I almost misread that. But Josh Trank would be good. I just don't know if
Let's keep Josh Trank away from superhero-related stuff.
Yeah.
Till the end of time, please.
Casey's saying there's Etrigan, Damage, Loose Cannon, Blue Devil, and Gotham City Monsters. I think you mentioned earlier that we should get a Gotham City Monsters movie instead.
Oh, no. Hugo Millie, I think you're thinking of Talk to Me.
Even a Grundy movie.
That's who I think you're thinking of. I think you're thinking of Talk to Me, because those were YouTube guys who did that.
Okay.
And that was really good. A little bit overrated for my taste, but that could definitely be... That was
Hugo's agreeing with you. That's the one.
That movie is a very heavy allegorical film, so you could definitely use those elements for a Clayface. I could see that. I think that could be really good. I forget I don't know the names. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Yeah. But
in the meantime, Angelica,
I know exactly.
Angelica suggesting potentially Michael Chavez, Corin Hardley, or Michael Sarnowski. Those could all be really good.
Michael and Danny Filipu. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like Philippu. I don't know how to pronounce that, but those guys who did the Talk to Me, which was Australian, that could work. I don't know who. Actually, I don't know who any of those guys are. I don't know Michael Chavez, Corin Hardley, or Michael Sarnowski.
Lenny's saying Coraline Forget should direct Clayface. I haven't heard of her, but I mean, hey, we trust you, Lenny. Maybe that could also be a good pick. We should do a fan casting for the directors for Clayface. I feel like
so. Michael Chavez directed The Nun 2. The last two Conjuring movies and Curse of La Llorona. No, thank you. Let's keep Conjuring people away from this unless it's James Wan, because those guys can't direct anything. Then Corin Hardley or Hardy. Corin Hardy. He directed the first Nun, Whistle, and The Hollow. I only know The Nun, and I heard that was pretty terrible.
I saw it. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. And honestly, it was just very
Michael Sarnowski. Yes, he directed Pig and Quiet Place Day One. That one I agree with. Yes, I forgot about that guy. But yeah, Pig was fucking excellent, and Quiet Place Day One was excellent. So I'd say him. So yeah,
you could do a comedy director.
It depends.
Lenny's mad at me for some reason, by the way. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like, because Edgar Wright made the jump to like more horror stuff. I didn't care for it where he did Last Night in Soho. I just didn't think that was very good. But he is doing The Running Man, which is more action. So Edgar Wright's breaking.
No, but Edgar Wright is also isn't he doing the new Jurassic Park movie?
No, he's doing Running Man. That's what he's working on with Glenn Powell.
Wait, so who is it? I thought he was also working on that Scarlett Johansson Jurassic Park movie.
No, Michael Coeb is doing that.
Are you Rebirth, right?
Gareth
That's what it's
Edwards
called?
is doing.
Gareth Edwards.
Jurassic
Why do I
Park.
always confuse those guys? Okay, it's Gareth Edwards. Never mind. I started writing Gareth
Because
Edwards.
Ed
Two very
is in the
different
name
people.
somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, Casey, I don't think James Cameron is directing anything but Avatar.
No,
for the
he
rest
wants
of
to
his life.
focus on his fucking blue people movies that nobody gives a fuck about.
I mean,
That apparently
they still make
everybody
$2
gives a
billion.
fuck about because it made $2 billion again.
Yeah.
It's like it's those movies are an anomaly that nobody gives a fuck about them, yet they still make like $2 billion. Like, what the fuck?
By the way, Hugo Millie has a good point. Like,
Yeah,
a good
no, that
comedy
is fair.
director could direct a good horror movie, and vice versa. There's a lot
same
of
with like
similarities.
actors making that jump as well. Like,
Yeah.
I remember my dad was shocked when he saw John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane because he knew him from like Roseanne and shit like and shit like that. So he's like, damn, the dude can fucking be funny and so menacing in this movie. So yeah, I mean, just like a James Gunn, he went from like you go from like Slither to, you know.
Exactly.
That would be an interesting one.
directed
I don't
Substance.
think
Yeah.
she would.
Yeah.
But that would be really fun. I mean, she's getting a lot of praise for The Substance, which is a great
Mhm.
movie, and it's definitely bringing that practical effect, but I don't think she would want to do it. I think she wants to stick with like indie projects, but I'd be open to it. I think she could do a good job.
Another good pick. Definitely a good pick. Now, guys, we have to. I mean, James Gunn has reminded us, so we have to do this. Let's talk about the one thing that we should have talked about yesterday, because quite frankly, we just spent like 2 hours yesterday and today talking about Superman mostly. But now let's talk about Creature Commandos episode 4. Speaking of Creature Commandos episode 4, there was a friendly reminder from the man himself, James Gunn, telling us, hey, but I don't want the Superman trailer to distract completely from today's episode of Creature Commandos.
Well, that's what you did.
Max,
that's what you
my
did.
favorite episode yet. But he did. Exactly. You're right, John. I mean, tell us for all the reasons why to me we were not expecting the Superman trailer this week, because you were like, why would you just completely drown out your own TV show? It just, that part to me didn't make sense, but at the same time, he's running out bigger. He's not only directing these individual projects, he's also running the whole studio. So it makes sense, like the big picture. But John, you saw episode 4 of Creature Commandos. Was it also your favorite episode yet? Much like James Gunn's?
It's not even. It's honestly one of the weaker episodes. I know, like that's crazy. Not like I hate it or anything, but I would say this was probably like out of the 4 episodes we gotten, it's definitely the second weakest. I feel like episode 2 and 3 were the best ones. The one with G.I. Robot was easily the best. The Bride was very good, even though it had some flaws. This, I think, it was kind of a lose-lose a little bit for me, because the story progression, I feel like barely went anywhere. And then on top of that, the Weasel stuff, I feel like there should have been more, because like I feel like half the episode was like focusing on stuff that barely progressed the story. Like you had like, you know, the stuff with like Frankenstein and Rick Flag, and then you have the stuff now with the rest of the creature. Alex Garland has said he's retiring from directing. So
there you go.
I think with Creature Commandos like going on, and now I just feel like there was not a lot to this episode. Like, like I felt like the stuff with Weasel was very good, and now I'm just like kind of depressed now because this thing is like not even like is like barely sentient human, yet he got blamed for this thing, and now it's like, what do you fucking do with this character? And I don't know, like it felt like. Like I understand like the whole thing was supposed to be bittersweet. Like we find out that Weasel didn't actually kill 27 children. He was, you know, blamed for killing 8 children by this one guy who saw this thing out of context, and you know, it goes on from there. And it's kind of just it's like it's so funny because like you release the Superman trailer, which is this great hopeful thing, and then you release this fucking episode, which is like incredibly depressing. And now I by the end of it, I was just sad. But even then, like ignoring like my emotions, ignoring my emotions or anything like that. Okay, tell me your theory, but I will go on until you mention the theory. So it's just like I feel like there should have been either more story progression or more Weasel stuff, and I think we kind of went halfway on both, and it ultimately resulted in an episode like not as good as it. Like I feel like we like because each episode is supposed to focus on a different one of the Creature Commandos. Awesome, great. I can't wait for Nina Mazursky's episode, by the way. That's gonna be fucking fantastic. It just I wish we got more with Weasel. Like I feel like there should have been something more who went well, I don't know about that. Well, then why didn't she exonerate him then? You know? And plus the little girl looked Asian and Linda Cardellini's lawyer character didn't. So I don't know. Obviously that's an interesting
saying
theory.
Like a kid survived, like so adding to the theory.
Yeah. But yeah, Justice for Weasel. So yeah, I feel like there should have been more. Like I felt like I don't know if this was just me being like, oh, it was so good. But the thing is, it wasn't so good. It needed more. It was just it felt kind of empty and hollow a little bit, especially after the previous episode, which was so fucking good, and the episode before, which was like,
I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody's like, Justice for Weasel, like
yeah, like don't get me wrong,
tears.
I liked, but it's just like it just by the end of it, it's just like, oh no, this thing is just gonna live this this barely sentient life of being this villain and we can't do anything about it. Just like, okay, why you gotta fucking do that then? Like, why are you doing this to me? It was definitely a very bitter episode, and like it was still good. I'm not saying it was bad or anything. I feel like there should have been more. I feel like there should have been more, and I feel like there wasn't enough for me personally. But I still thought it was a good episode. I just wanted to see with what they had, we should have gotten more of Weasel. And
I just love how Jay's calling you out every week. I wish we could have gotten more.
No, with G.I. Robot, I thought we got enough. I thought that was great. Everything about that episode was fantastic. We got the perfect amount. We had killing Nazis. We had a lot of great story progression. Here, I feel like we didn't have any good story progression, and the flashbacks left me empty. So,
Justice for Weasel and Wick. Fuck the Penguin.
But yeah, overall, like a decent, like the last episode, I would have given like an 8.5 or a 9. This I would have given like a 7. Like it's still good, but I think it should have been better. But yeah, still good. I'm excited for the next episode. Yeah, exactly. If there were more Weasel scenes, that's exactly what I'm saying. But you're fucking chose.
I mean, but hey, it's number one on.
It's number one. I'm glad it's number one. That means the DCU is, there's something there. Plus, we got more superhero. The superhero like apocalyptic vision. We got more.
Mm-hmm.
We got more Batman and all that shit. So like that was kind of cool. But yeah, I thought the Commandos episode was good, not great. Good, not.
But look at what James Gunn said, right? He's like, dude, it's one of the saddest. It's the saddest thing I've ever written in my entire life. It's just really heartbreaking. And if you like watch how James Gunn obviously shows his love of animals and how it comes through in his work, from Crypto the Superdog and Superman to Rocket Raccoon and all of his friends in Guardians of the Galaxy, especially Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, to what you see now. Yeah, I mean it's like you can imagine like it's justice for Weasel, man, justice for Weasel. But the show continues to be on a hot streak, and like Jay was saying, it's number one on Max, and I think the Superman bump is there because people are interested in the DCU more and more, having seen the trailer, and now they're just gonna go and be like, oh wait, there's a DCU thing already out there, and so, yeah, go and binge it, like go watch it. There's 4 episodes now, and you can catch up, and then there's 3 more to go. And Angelica giving her review saying, to me, I give it 6 out of 10 for Creature Commandos episode 4. So far, so good.
Okay, Casey good. I'm not the only one that was disappointed, but
Well, there you go. 6 out of 10, just about average. Casey saying, I think Gunn could have found a way to connect the flashbacks to the main plot to make them more impactful, like with the bride and the Frankenstein's monster. That's a fair criticism. Caleb saying the dialogue between Amanda Waller and Cersei was amazing. What do you think, John? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought that was definitely very interesting. I also liked It's Mochi's comment. I don't know if you guys spoke about this, but I really hope that the princess isn't Clayface for flag's sake.
Dude, you should have been watching the show where Liz was on. Like, this is what was it was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was
2 weeks ago. There's a whole list of comments that John had for that. This is what John's response. He was like, well, if it is Clayface, then well, a hole is a hole, and where there's a hole, there's a goal. And then also John said Frank Grillo is probably drowning in pussy, so he'll be fine.
Honestly, I mean,
fine.
We knew that something was up. Something was going to be up with Alana. At first, we thought it was going to be Clayface, but now it's just like, oh no, she just wants to take over the fucking world. So I don't know where Clayface is going to come in. That's going to be an interesting little bit. And now we know this Clayface is going to connect to the movie that's coming out in 2026. So that's definitely very interesting. So I'm curious. And I mean, he did say that this is going to be a gruesome and fucked up Clayface. James Gunn said that. So I'm curious how that's going to translate from, Clayface, the movie, from this, because like he's supposed to be like a tragic villain there. So I'm like, I'm curious how they're going to make that work.
Yeah. Yep. Caleb question.
I don't know.
Of course. Hugo saying, I think they want Clayface to replace her, maybe. Could be. Is Mochi saying Clayface might be Alex?
Alex? Who's Alex?
Yeah, please specify. Elite Easy E dropping in really, really late. Sorry, Elite, we've been live for a while, but thanks for dropping by. We were talking about Superman earlier. We're reviewing Creature Commandos now. Be kind and rewind if you want to check out all the trailer reaction, all the viewership numbers, the records that Superman's trailer broke. 250 million views. So Elite.
I mean,
Alexi the Guard. That's what it's.
Alexi. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Alex is the name of Dr. Phosphorus's real name. That's something I don't know, but yeah.
Alexi the Guard. Yeah.
Well,
I suppose so.
Okay, that's a good sign. Well, not him being dead, but the fact that they will focus on Wally West instead.
I mean, but they've already said that, right? Or were we just sort of hinting at it?
We were just hinting at that, but yeah, I think. So next episode we're going to be getting the Frankenstein focus episode, which is like I don't mind what they're doing with Frankenstein. It's just like I don't care. He's just like this misogynistic stalkery prick. So I don't know how they're gonna like make that work. That maybe they'll at the end of it, like we had, we empathized over this disgusting, like barely sentient werewolf creature. So with the power of James Gunn, they'll try to do something. What is your motivation? It's a rock monster. It doesn't have a motivation. You're never serious about the craft. Anyway, but yeah, like Clayface is just like maybe he just wants to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Some people just want to watch the world burn. I'm trying to do my Michael. I'm trying to do my Michael Caine. I can't do it. All right. Well,
just want to watch the world burn.
Any other Easter eggs and cameos that you want to point out and bring attention to?
Yeah, you got Gorilla Grodd, which, as we mentioned, was in the newspaper in
the Superman.
In Superman, and he's also here.
Trailer, yes. Yep.
Which confirming Flash, because he's a Flash villain, so that's cool.
He's a Flash villain.
And then we have Superman on the cross, and people are all pishy about it, which is like, all right, we've gotten Christ symbolism before. Calm down.
Those Zack Snyder movies.
And we also have Vigilante on the all the way to the left. That's that was Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good.
Yeah. I'm sure people are like gonna be finding out more and more what these characters are the more we get into this nightmare sequence.
Yeah, there he is. To the left.
To the left.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to tell once you get past like the first 5 or 6 characters who they are.
I think
there's
that's
a
the
Superman
point.
logo. Yep. So yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely some hidden characters here. Of course, it doesn't mean this future is going to come true unless we go that route of a dystopian future. Smochi saying, I wonder if the Commandos will be a part of Justice League Dark. I don't know if Justice League Dark is still happening, that J.J. Abrams was connected to. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I mean, maybe some of these characters could be. Yay, DCU Batman. Batman has long ears, makes me happy. Well, there you go. We do have potentially a first look at the DCU Batman. The
Yeah,
Batman
I like
Archivist
how
Blade.
they have the cape very strategically placed, so we don't
We don't
see
see any
what
detail
his
beyond the
uniform
cowl.
looks like, because
Yeah,
people would get pishy, like, oh.
especially because like what that logo looks like, right? Like that's the big one, the
Hmm.
chest.
Hopefully, it's
Batman
not like
has long
absolute
ears,
Batman.
makes me happy, says Ron. All right, well there's at least that. So get JJ away, says Elite Easy. Yes, apparently earlier this year James Gunn said that J.J. Abrams Superman movie is still happening potentially, but we haven't gotten any updates in the past 6 months. We have no idea, but J.J. Abrams doesn't have a ton else going on with Warner Brothers right now, so
Except
who
for Cape
knows?
Crusader, which fucking sucks. So
True, he is, but I mean, also Matt Reeves has got that. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Cape Crusader needs to get canceled so J.J. Abrams can be on his merry way, and Matt Reeves can finally finish the script for the Batman Part 2. So, but yeah. Yeah, there you go. And Ron wants to be a very Arkham. We're getting that in the Batman though, right? Like we're getting a very Arkham inspired suit there.
No,
So
I mean, not really, because the Arkham one isn't like armored like the Batman one is. The Batman one's very like pieces of metal,
okay,
while the
fair.
Arkham one is not very like. It's like it looks like it's like spandex over like bulletproof stuff he has over his body.
Right. Yeah, Mochi wasn't a fan of the Ben Affleck suit. I mean, I didn't like the tiny ears on the Ben Affleck suit. That was the part that annoyed me the most. I did like the design though; it was so
I
different from
didn't.
the other ones you've gone
I will
before.
say I didn't mind the bat logo. It does. I wish, you know what I wish? I wish the Batarang was the logo on the suit.
That logo was cool. I loved the Batarang. I agree with you 20,000%.
Yes.
That should have been it.
That would be cool. Although I don't know, but Anton Fuqua would be
He's
great for a
directing,
Batman
dude.
movie.
Antoine Fuqua is directing that Michael Jackson biopic, which is gonna blow away the box office next year.
Oh yeah,
that looks
most
amazing.
definitely. I think Anton Fuqua is a little bit too grounded of a director to do Justice League Dark. I think he would be great for a Batman movie, though.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
But
yeah,
go ahead.
I think I do like the Ben Affleck suit because like it did give us that was the thing that was Arkham inspired, because it was very much like he was wearing like bulletproof stuff, but over it he was wearing like something that was like kind of like a thin like cloth kind of thing that like kind of worked. I understand the hatred for the bat logo. It is fat. I mean, it's not as bad as the absolute Batman. That is just fucking terrible. But I think I think I don't like this. Like this I like. I don't like the super long ears like Justice League Unlimited or the Justice League show. I hate those ears. They look so ugly. But I don't like the super short ears. I don't like the super short ears either. I don't
want like a nice mix, like a balance.
Here's the thing. Bat Trunks isn't much of a debate. I could go with or without them. Superman, I feel like, needs to have the trunks. Batman can go with or without. I think it works.
Dude, Batman hasn't had trunks in live action since Michael Keaton. Like nobody.
Michael Keaton didn't need to have it. None of them have had trunks.
None of them. That's what I mean. Like since before Michael Keaton, I should say. Like since
Adam West was the only one that worked.
Since Adam West
and the silent Batman.
And nobody cares. Like nobody says like, oh, he needs to have them. And I think even when David Cornshaw was trying to convince James Gunn to give Superman trunks, because even James Gunn wasn't really sure. He was like, it's Superman though. Like I think, and it was the intention was like, well, it's not Batman.
It's supposed to be goofy because Superman is goofy. Like that.
Yeah, but it's also he wants
that was another thing I hated. That was
him.
Another dumbass fucking thing where it was like, oh, this looks so goofy. Why is it so goofy? It's like, bruh, it's about a guy who flies, like who shoots laser beams out of his eyes.
No, but also you don't want to. It's not animated. I do understand the concerns from both James Gunn and Zack Snyder. Like, and the reasoning that they had. I get it. I get it, but I also understand what David Cornsweet is coming from. So, I mean, hey, we might get a little bit of both. Like if you're going off the first Superman trailer, at least. Mochi saying now should Batman have the blue suit? even if it is, it's gonna be like a very dark grayish navy blue, so you're probably not gonna notice it all that much. And Hugo Millie saying when the Justice League come along, they'll probably try to convince Bruce to appear more friendly. Was something that they did in Suicide Squad kills Justice League, and it was actually done really well. Yeah, I mean, look, there's everybody, whatever the ultimate suit ends up looking like. Clearly, they didn't want to give up a ton here, and even the cowl, I feel like they haven't quite given us a lot to work with, really. They could easily go in and change things up, and most people, won't notice the difference because you're looking at a few frames of animation versus what would be probably one of the biggest movies, that the DCU put out once they do eventually bring out Batman: Brave and the Bold. So, John, with that, I think we're gonna put a kibosh on the Creature Commandos review. Of course, earlier the big news, for any of you guys who dropped in late, was the trailer for Superman. Of course, did so wonderfully well. It's still trending, I think, on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can go and look at the trending. I think yesterday for sure it was like number one. It still might be number one. 250 million views makes it the most viewed trailer of all time in the first 24 hours for both DC and Warner Brothers. And of course, it also makes it the second highest viewed of the year. The highest one, of course, was Deadpool and Wolverine with 365. But for the first movie in a new cinematic universe and the first teaser trailer, holy cow, Superman is already off to a great start. So I'm looking forward to the summer of Superman, John. And, we've been on here for another 2.5 hours. So I think we're going to call it a night or a day or wherever you guys are watching us from. As always, thanks for stopping by. For all the new names, we got Mochi in there. Of course, we got the usual suspects like Ron. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe
Lenny,
button.
Hugo.
The notification
Did we get Antonio? Was Antonio part of the chat? Or
I think Antonio was here. Antonio was here. We got Frankie G in there.
Jay Kelly, Caleb, the classic troll, Angelica. Frankie G, who I think is new, and then Casey, who's not a total regular,
Kelly,
but enough.
And then Fiona in there, Angelica, you mentioned, of course. Case, Derpy Entertainment was here earlier.
Kevin Davis was here.
Hunter Iggy. Oh God, like the
Man of Steel
Marco,
Magnolias. Marco.
Manolo, Miraculous, Man of Steel Magnolias, Mr. Carter 2022. Is that Jay-Z's burner account? I wonder. All right, so. You got, in case if it is, hello Jay-Z, but you don't have things to worry about. Adam Strunk, we love all you guys for stopping by and you're watching the show, commenting, taking part in the chat. As always, Antonio saying hi, Frankie G saying like y'all vibes. Well, we like your vibes. Thank you for joining the community, and we hope you stick around. We got all the fire emojis from Elite Easy E. Ron saying bye guys and be like Superman, not like the Penguin. Exactly. And Mochi saying have a nice night. And with that, guys, we will wish you an amazing weekend. The holiday season is here. Whether you celebrate Christmas, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, or you celebrate neither, we hope you have a festive holiday season. And we will be back on Monday with another episode of DCU Daily. We'll be here all next week. Don't you worry. If even on Christmas Day, once you had your Christmas dinner and you're just sitting back there and you're looking for your daily dose of DC and the DCU, just stop by here and we'll have something for you. We're also going to review Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as well as, of course, Mufasa the Lion King, along with some Marvel news maybe as well. But yeah, we will be here with DCU Daily 5 days a week next week. So be sure to join us. We'll have John, we'll have Liz, we might get some of the other crew members on as well. But until then, guys, have a great weekend. If you haven't seen the Superman trailer, what are you doing?
Watch it, you
Go
fucks.
Watch it.
Watch Creature Commandos episode 4. Make sure to keep that number 1 up.
Exactly. And if you already have watched those things, go and watch them again. You might catch something you missed the first time. We did. There's so much to see. But we wish you an amazing weekend and then a great holiday season ahead. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you, John, for joining us. And as always, as they say on the poster of Superman, keep
a hole's a hole.
looking up. And where there's a hole, there's a goal. So look up.